Good evening and welcome to the Madison Advisory Budget Committee. It is Thursday, February 5th at 6 p.m. Welcome everyone. At the table we have Jake Bowie, who is the Selectman's representative to the ABC. To his left is Deb Parsons, who is the school board representative to the ABC. To my right is Joe Dame, who is the vice chairman. I'm Sharon Schilling, I'm the chair. To my left is Doug McAllister, who's a member at large. I don't know, member.
A large member.
No.
Oh,
And then Nan Bartlett, also a member. And Linda is our recording secretary and town rep. So thank you all for being here. Can we rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and we have a quorum of members, so we don't have to elevate anybody from alternate status, not that we have any alternates, so. Again, my every 2-week plea or monthly plea, if you're out in the audience and you are watching this and would like to become a member of the Advisory Budget Committee, please let Town Hall know. There's a form to fill out, and we will talk to you about being on the Advisory Budget Committee. First order of business is approval of the January 27th minutes. Let's see, I had some corrections.
I have a minor correction.
You need a motion first?
No, we're gonna
Okay.
correct them first.
Just
Then
reading
we'll
through
take a
it.
motion.
Yeah.
Because we'll take the
After we
motion,
make a motion.
correct them as amended once we do that.
I have one that, Dr. Whalen's name is spelled incorrectly. W-H-A-L-A-N-D.
A-N.
Oh, no,
Is he
Wayland,
A-N-D?
Wayland.
I thought he's,
That's what I get on my emails.
is he A-N-D or A-N? Dr.
Deb's-
Whalen.
Deb's looking up
So
right
did
now.
I, and I think it's in my phone wrong, so
I'll
it's
find
however
it.
it comes on your emails is correct, because
It's
that's.
W-H-A-L-A-N-D.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay, just, we know what we meant.
I have it spelled 3 different
Yeah, there's a few, yeah,
Yeah.
3-4 times.
So my first correction is the first paragraph underneath Pledge of Allegiance, where it says Parsons is unable to attend in person due to illness. She has requested to attend
Aye.
via electronic means. Via. And then we'll do the Dr. Whalen name change. On the next page, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About the 4th paragraph down, starts with Schilling brought up for, it should say discussion instead of discussed. Yes?
You
You
know,
see?
yeah, I see.
And then on the last page, under Article 6, is the highway budget. It says at $260,000. It's not, it's $1,048,496. That's just the one line in the budget. So it's
So
one.
it should say, then you want to say the DPW budget with the whole amount, cause just the highway line was, I think,
The highway line, that highway line, yeah, but the article talks about that whole budget section, so yeah, it should then say the DPW budget. Okay. That's all I have. Anyone else?
I have a minor one.
Sir?
First page, bad TV videographer, Theo's name should be there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Lauren
sure,
Palmer.
Theo Gray.
Theo
yeah,
Gray.
Theo Gray.
yeah.
I couldn't remember who was here.
Anyone else? No?
Yep.
All right, with that, then I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, they're approved. All right, next. Public comment. You can either start here, or we can wait and do it under the school board and budget update.
Whatever works best for you.
Either one? All right, well then,
Somebody make a decision.
I'll do, we'll wait till then.
All right.
And no other public comment? Nicole, do you have anything?
Just part of the public.
Okay.
Can't get enough.
All right, timeline review, really quick, the next thing coming up obviously is Tuesday is the town budget hearing at the elementary school at 7 p.m. We will all be there. Is there anyone not gonna be able to make that for any reason? I know you have to be there.
I'll be there. With bells on.
Yeah,
And
it
then-
is at 7 p.m.
It is
Yes.
at 7 p.m., not
When-
6.
It was back and forth with 6. It is confirmed as 7.
7 p.m.
Okay.
It was never 6.
You remember that?
It was never 6.
Candidate night was shuffled
Never
around,
six.
but right.
Some, I don't know who
No. I don't know
got
where that came
confused.
The candidate night was shift around from 6 to 7.
Oh, okay.
But
Whatever. I can
the warrant's
confuse
been.
easily, so.
Candidate night is the 5th of March?
Yes.
Thursday the 5th? Okay,
That
and-
sounds correct to me.
Yeah, Thursday, and that is at
7.
Seven?
Is that at 6?
That's
See, all right, so there it is.
See, okay, see,
Yeah.
here we go. again.
Thursday,
All right.
3.
I think because it's been shifted around so
Yeah.
many times, I don't know.
All right.
Someone tell me when to be there.
And then the other is, after the budget meeting by Friday, Linda, I need to have that report to you, correct, in PDF?
That'd be great.
Yeah, I'll see if I can get it to you Thursday night, by Thursday afternoon. I'm working on it, and then March 10th, the next thing then is March 10th, we're school and town elections. From 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., the polls will be open. And then Saturday, March 14th, will be the town meeting at the elementary school. It begins at 9 a.m. Right? That's what we have on. All right. If there's any changes or additions, we'll let you know as we keep going. School board and budget update. Deb, anything? Well, let Deb, any updates from you?
We have a deliberative.
Session.
Okay.
The Article 2 was amended, so I know we have to revisit that.
Yes.
We've kind of been waiting to see what happens with legislation around open enrollment. That was supposed to happen today, I
I was
think.
gonna say, that was due today, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's everything budget related that kind of got discussed at the deliberative.
Okay.
I know we have to revisit, based on last meeting, recommendation of the SAU budget. And I know I was gonna bring it up, but Mr. Kern's here too to, ask us to reconsider possibly, voting again on we have to vote again.
We have to vote on
We have
Article
to,
2,
because
because there was
changed.
a floor motion to increase the budget by $27,000.
Yep. So those are all things that we have to revisit. I don't really think there's anything else pressing that's budget related.
Okay. Mr. Curran is here to talk to us.
So I brought you a copy of, which I emailed to you last night.
I'm good.
Yeah, I actually
Is it
forwarded.
the same one?
Yeah,
It
it should
is,
be.
okay.
I forwarded it to Linda and asked her to. Oh, no, but I did tell her that I forwarded
You
it
asked for
to
copies, I
everybody.
brought them.
Yep, and I asked you to bring the copies, because I knew
Um,
he was already busy.
So I had asked Lisa to make sure she updated the numbers for special ed para hours, which we had long discussions about. She actually had them Tuesday night with her, but not asked the direct question of hours. She didn't feel it was in her place to step up and say, hold on, so I wanted to make sure I got those out. I mean, I told you that night, Sharon,
Yeah.
that I had them, but I didn't have them in front of me at that point either,
Right.
after the fact.
So this is in addition, this is a change, this is an increase from the discussion we had concerning the 56.5.
That is correct.
Hours, it's now,
This
I'm reading
is-
101.25?
Yes, and her email to me when she sent it to me, which I had to read, attaches the paraprofessional information for the 26-27 school year. Please note the increase in hours is based upon what we know now and have to provide for the 26-27 school year. The previous number was hours that have been referenced, 56.5, was based on the paraprofessional hours that are being provided currently during the 25-26 school year. That's the email that she sent me with these numbers here. After some conversation, I guess, with the special ed teachers, and looking at the need for next year, that was one piece I wanted to talk about, just to make sure you had that accurate information in front of you.
So when did she get this information?
I don't know when she got it, but she had it available
Tuesday night.
Tuesday.
Monday night, rather.
Yes, thank you.
Whatever night we were there.
This week at the deliberative session night. I mean, yes, it just came to me. So I wanted to make sure you had that, because I think it helps in making the decision. At this late of an hour, this coming out, it looks skewed.
I have a huge concern with that.
But I feel the same way, but it is what they are telling me the hours are needed for next year. And would I have loved to have this in December? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
January? Okay. But yes, I know we're coming in at the back line of this. Doug, you had brought up something at the last meeting about per student cost.
Yes.
So on the warrant that you guys had in front of you, I think it was 39. The state's number for that is printed in the book, which is 35.
35063.
35063. I know that was a number that you had thrown out there.
Yeah.
I asked Heather Sherwood what the difference in that was, and the difference in that is that when Heather factored it, she did not include the preschool students. The state does.
Okay.
So the state does include the preschool students in that number. So that's why her number was higher than what it is
Okay.
in the book. So I wanted to clarify that.
Okay. Then she should clarify that in the documentation as well.
It's
too late.
in the book now as 35.
Oh, okay.
It is.
Okay.
So in what was available for the meeting the other night, it is in that book.
I know, again, another huge concern, because the number we have heard since budgeting started last fall was 39, and 39, and 39, and now we're hearing it's 35.
I understand.
And in actuality, the cost to educate a Madison Elementary School student is 39.
If you look at, so I don't know if that answer, I don't know if I can say that's completely correct or not. Because
The book says.
no, the book says 35.
35 now.
No, when you break it down under, because I didn't understand how you came up, all the numbers we've seen right along have been 39, 39. The first time I saw 35 was when I opened this book up Monday night, and it's like, how, why? So I go back to understanding the Madison cost and et cetera, and it goes on to explain that the elementary is 39,562. The middle school is 26,88, 0.45. The high school is 24,085. Total 33. So again, I'm completely confused as to the 35. But an elementary student is 39 according to this
K6,
book.
correct. So, but I think the preschool numbers are lumped into that. The preschool enrollment is lumped into that, not lumped into that, but the cost for preschool students is lumped into that. So it's divided out into the elementary.
So I still have a question.
Yes, sir.
In front of me, I've got the New Hampshire cost per student. Now it's a year old.
Yep,
Understand that.
last year.
Last year, New Hampshire Department of Education releasing its newest cost per pupil data for 23-24. The new statewide average operating cost per pupil, $21,545. An increase from 23-24 for the year earlier than that. So why is this new state of New Hampshire telling me it's 21,000, and you're telling me it's 35.
That's the state average.
That's a state average.
Yeah, and
I'm telling me Madison.
Town.
I understand, but you're telling me that the state, you just said what the state average was.
No, I told you what Madison is.
Okay, so then the question is, why is Madison so much higher than the rest of the state?
Because we are a small one district, one school community. It's if you break out the other schools like ours, we all tend to be higher because we can't share those costs among multiple schools inside of our districts. So Conway has 3 elementary schools, so they can share certain services amongst their own elementary schools. Because Madison is its own school district, we can't divide those out further.
Okay.
But yes, I mean, the ultimate goal is to continue to get that number down. So that's,
And I guess my issue is, what are those efforts? What are those significant efforts that are going to make any kind of significant impact on it? Because I'm not seeing that, and that's my concern. This isn't just a Madison issue. This is a statewide. This is a nationwide issue. The cost of education is through the roof, and our test scores, and any other measure that you use for a child's education, they're not great. They're not good, and they're not getting significantly better. My issue is I feel like we keep throwing money at the problem, but that's not solving it.
but the scores are going up. I mean, I'm not saying that they're jumping leaps and bounds, but they have grown. And that's in the report card showing that's in the directory, in the book.
In the book.
Yeah.
Sharon, can I ask a question?
Certainly.
Or make a statement? So one, to Doug's point, I'm not really sure how many schools in the state consider preschool as part of their per pupil student cost. So that concerns me. And second, it's not a Madison School District program yet, so I don't understand why we're including that that is what we pay to the SAU for our SAU program. So I don't think it is relevant in the per student.
Unless we
cost.
include the cost that we pay the SAU to run the SAU, to participate in the SAU as part of our education cost, and that gets divided across all of our students.
So
Does
that,
it?
what I'm to understanding is that no matter where we pay the cost for the preschoolers, it goes into the elementary. The state is utilizing those enrolled students as part of our per pupil cost when they're providing us that number.
Then I guess I would want an asterisk that says of the state average, how many of those include preschool? Because I'm not really sure we're comparing apples to apples.
When you're talking statewide average, I don't know if every district includes their preschool students or not.
Well, not every district has preschool.
Right.
Well, no, but they all have, but every district, I guess I can't say every district, but most districts have preschool students that they're educating in one way, shape, or form. So any student that is.
But they have absolutely no control over the budget of how
But I'm
they're
wondering,
educated.
I don't know if they're including the, just the identified students, or if they're including all of the students.
Does it
Because-
make sense to include both numbers? The average cost per pupil for the preceding year as calculated in accordance with the RSA is 35,063, including, and in parentheses, including preschool students. Otherwise it's 39.
I don't.
I don't.
When it comes to the prescriptive languages, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
that's outside of me.
I don't know. We get George up there then.
And George is good about letting us kind of leave whatever we want in there. And we'll fight it later.
He'll fight the RA later.
But I'm just trying to give you the information in which I have. The enrollment, projected enrollment for next year based on everything is in the book at 90. I know a number the other night was thrown at 82.
Yeah, but again, I highlighted it in my book. they're saying 13 are coming into kindergarten, and we're still not being given, we got birth rates, we got how many are in our program right now, but that's a 2-year program, so we've gotta, so I really have a problem. I feel it's misleading to say that there's 13 estimated kids, and I don't know, I brought my other books to go back and look at, have we ever done an estimated into kindergarten the way that we did this year? It just seems odd. Because birth rates, yeah, they're an indicator, but you have no way of cross-checking whether those are the kids that are actually in our preschool right now or totally different kids, or you don't even have any way of knowing whether those people still live in town. So it's not a good way to budget for next year. So I don't have confidence in the number of 90.
I think
It's
there's,
inflated.
but I think there's no way to. Your incoming kindergartners is nothing short of a guesstimate on any given year, because if you do go through the birth records and look at the numbers that are there, it could say, oh, Sharon Schilling was born, this year, but somebody can say, oh, she moved out of town like 6 months after the baby was born. I don't know. So if we don't know the students that they are, then we won't have a clue. And there are those other ones who've moved in as well.
But you do know the number of students that are currently in your preschool.
In the preschool, and then we do get some information from the Madison preschool that's operated at the church.
But no one has ever indicated that to us in any of the meetings, that they've
Correct.
reached out to Madison Preschool, and this is how many students they know are coming from there. So that's my concern, is that, one, I would prefer to start the budget process earlier so that these questions can get answered, but to find them out in February when the deliberatives already happened is not acceptable.
Can I make a statement
And-
as well?
Absolutely.
And I just want to lead first by saying that I don't think there's a person in this room that doesn't support good education. I think we
This is true.
all support good education. We have to balance it with also the ability of taxpayers to pay. So it's that balance. I don't see the balance, I haven't seen it in a long time from the administration at Madison or from the school board. The second thing, the advisory budget committee report is on page 41 in the book. I think you should read it. It summarizes what we've talked about. The budget process started really in the fall, and a lot of the numbers that are in this book are not the same numbers that we've been told all along. I mean, I was really, again, that cost per student, 35, and it's like, whoa. Where did that come from? Explain it to me. The other, I was looking at other, that was the cost per pupil, number of different forms, Number 2 is the warrant article. Page 22, which is your enrollment estimates, that's inflated compared to the numbers we've been working with. Staff salaries on page 90, very misleading. I think this book is propaganda myself, because it's very misleading. You have a salary, and if you refer to page 90, and I suggest everybody do that, you look at the salaries, and then you look at related costs, which were retirement and FICA. So, and I'll just use for an example, the principal, because she's the first one at the top, with a total of $136,000, and you say, okay, what they forget, what you don't tell us, is all the other benefits. Life insurance, health insurance, dental insurance, and this is the only employee in the whole school district that we pay fully for health and dental. So the total package to that is $190,000. So those are huge numbers. And so again, we get information from here. I don't even know what to look at and what to.
So in the back page of the book is the salary with related benefits, excluding health insurances.
Health insurance, well, I did the math today, and what was
So it could be insurances.
It's insurance,
But that
unemployment
is-
is 113, life insurance, health insurance, and dental. And that package alone was 54. The 136 included unemployment, and FICA. No, I'm sorry,
Medicaid
retirement
as well.
and FICA.
Medicaid is probably in there as well.
Well,
That's your statutory, those are your statutory benefits.
The 6.757% for the FICA and Medicare.
Right,
Medicare.
Medicare, yeah.
So usually the FICA is that whole number.
I'm
Yeah,
just
it's a
saying
whole
it's
number.
misleading.
The whole
It's
6.75.
misleading. You don't tell it all. And
We
and
do
now-
tell it all, man.
But you can't publish health insurance information, correct?
Correct. You
Because
can't
that-
publish it.
You
per
can't publish it
person.
per person.
You can
Per
publish it
person,
Right.
the
per
cost-
Now, if you look at our budget, it's pretty dang easy to pull out
Yeah.
single role
Yeah.
positions. You know,
Right.
pull out the nurse, you pull out the guidance counselor, that have their own line items. So yes, it gets a little more skewed there, but no, we can't publish
Right.
X with X, and X.
Then why do we ask our town employees to look at their full? I
Yeah,
mean,
but we don't know, we also don't know. We
it's
see a
shown the
group.
town
We see
employees.
We see the
13
group, the
employees,
package.
what the package costs, that
but
there are.
each employee is aware of their compensation package.
Oh,
It's done
definitely. They get-
annually.
Yeah,
Well,
they get a letter.
Sheet.
Each of our employees are as
Okay.
well.
Yeah.
On the insurance piece, so we've gone back and forth with the union. I tried to have a solid answer for tonight to say they have agreed. I'm just gonna
It should-
read it.
We
Hold on.
should have had it
I-
for the deliberative
But
part.
they haven't given us the answer, and it's not the board. The board has been trying. So it's, I mean,
I know, I'm sure it's frustrating.
So-
If that's, but I'm just as frustrated.
Mike talked
because-
to one of the union representatives today. She said the union is still waiting for a couple more votes, but said she would have a final count tomorrow and felt comfortable in sharing with the ABC that MEA is most likely moving to the orange plan and will have confirmation tomorrow AM. I'm not, I would have loved to have had an answer because we tried to get a meeting. We had a meeting back in December. It's been ongoing. So the savings that can't change in the warrant article is roughly $65,000 to $70,000 that will come out. It looks like it's going to happen, should happen tomorrow, but I don't have the answer, and it's because they're a union, we can't just change it.
Oh, I know.
No.
I know.
So
Jim, I understand that, and, you know, my perspective on the insurance, it's 830K or so for the school. It's 12% of the school budget,
I know.
and, I mean, it's killing, you know, it's unsustainable with a 26% increase this year. Yeah, you know, I don't know much about this orange plan. Is it a lower cost, you know, higher deductible
It's a
plan?
lower cost, higher deductible. plan.
Similar to what we did a few years ago with Linda, when we,
Don't know if it goes to the extent that the school is at.
No,
Sorry,
it
that the
does
town
not.
is at.
It does not.
Apparently, Nan knows all about it.
yeah, I don't
Well,
know,
health insurance
is
in
it,
the yellow plan, or the plan that they're suggesting, went up 19%. And those are non-CBA employees, so it's 19%. Whereas your CBA or your contracted, you know, went up 22%. It's not a huge difference.
It was.
I mean,
it was a
whatever.
23% increase over last year's on the same plan.
Yeah,
If we
they-
switched to the new one, it ended up being a 19.2% increase, I believe.
Going from yellow to orange.
Correct.
but Jim, the orange plan, is it still under the
It is
the old
Same.
carrier
Still
that
under
had all
school
the
care,
financial
yes.
issues?
Because
Yes.
I don't think they can
We
change
can't
After-
change
after
the
the
carriers? Okay.
yet.
So we can change the carrier. The problem is we got down to the final, and they're the only ones that are going that at this point were giving us a rate. We
Okay.
couldn't get the others to give us a rate in order to try to lock in to get something set for
Time.
July.
Yeah.
Most insurance plans run January to December.
Yeah.
School care runs July to June.
Yeah. No, I,
To get others to rate us July to June, Heather's been jumping through hoops trying to get us sorry, can't get the word out of my head, into my head. But the information to them about the risk. So they wanted risk information from our previous to rate us for the next one. And Heather got it for them, and then they said, well, we want another month's worth. So they still haven't given us rates for that. Are we done with this? No, I don't think we're done with this. I think this gets us in a better place now for this year, but to still continue to look at it.
Do you know what the estimated cost savings by going to orange from yellow is?
He was saying
65 to $70,000. Okay.
Yes.
But
For the,
what is the financial risk with this carrier? As we saw last year, we had to pay $100,000 because they ran out of money. More claims.
Their
than what they
pool
could cover.
their
The
pool got dropped, and it was loss
What
ratio.
if we get hit up with another $100K this year? If the pool is out of money again,
We're in trouble.
What's the risk? You know what I mean with this carrier? That's why I'm asking.
I believe with any pooled risk, school care and the one up in that Conway used last year had the same problem
Oh, they paid a lot of
last
money
year. Yes.
as well. Yes.
So yes, I think there's always some risk there, and at the end of the day, would it be nice to get away from that? Yes.
Well, that's what I'm kind of good. Well, that's what I'm trying to suggest is, can we look at like we did with the town? The Anthem, Blue Cross Blue Shield, other carriers may have similar or better plans that are more competitive.
Go in direct carrier.
And a lower risk of this pool payment, surprise payment,
Right.
where that $100K was due by the end of the year, or they wouldn't cover our bills.
We got the bill in August. It was due by September.
September, yeah. Or
You know,
we're gonna
or-
not pay your claims.
Right.
Yeah.
So-
We don't want to be held hostage to that.
I was gonna say, talk about
Correct.
hostage.
Yeah. No, that's okay. No, I understand that you're working on it, but
Um,
I'm just trying to understand this orange plan and
I'm just
what's going on.
Mike was going to be here with me tonight. He's sending me messages. I can hear him coming through my head. School care held a meeting and they have reported healthy reserves and 90% of schools have signed back on. That was as of yesterday. Medical loss ratio was the term I was looking for that they were asking for.
Okay.
So yes, we're still working. I mean, we worked on the bus contract. We've got that down $100,000. We're working on the tuition agreements, trying to get those numbers down and to become more stable. We're trying really hard to make changes to do what's right.
No, I understand.
So I think part of one of the issues is that you're all locked in to a wage schedule, if you will, that gets negotiated a couple of years in advance.
And the town approves.
I understand.
Yes, so-
I understand that.
Yeah, so this is budgeting for the second year of 3 on the collective bargain, on the Madison Employee Association. So
When does the discussion for the next collective bargaining agreement
it will start kind of probably after next annual meeting. But they're locked in. So then the next increases are already set in that collective bargaining agreement that was
Right,
approved.
I get that. but-
So it starts then. It usually starts sometime April, May, rolls in through the summer, and then by the time summer comes out, or it depends on how long it takes to make the determination. It lasts sometimes up till December to come with a new agreement that it can be brought to the town, to the board and to the association to agree, and then we bring it to the town once we both agree.
But
Jim-
you're also
oh, sorry.
already in budgeting cycle by then, by December. You're already in that new budgeting cycle.
We are.
And so you're in the same position where we don't have numbers until that agreement gets.
But that last year, all of the raises for staff are 0. So that last year, so next year, the raises will be included with what's in the collective bargaining agreement. The following year, when negotiation is happening, very similar to last year, there were no increases for staff in the budget lines. The collective bargaining had an agreement warrant article, had a number associated with it.
Oh, I do remember that.
And then it says an estimated number for the following 2 years.
Which you have to add on to
the
every
bu-
year.
You have to- it's
to
accumulative.
really see
To
what the.
understand
Mhm.
what the,
And
what
it's,
the
Yeah,
number.
I get it.
it's a tactic to say that the last year is 0 because that's when you're gonna be looking at what you're gonna do for the next
you're
time.
at a new
and
baseline.
you're gonna be able to say, look, there were no increases last year, but there were huge ones at the beginning. So it's a negotiating tactic, and it's a way to try to pass your warrants.
Jim, the reason I bring this up on the insurance, I mean, that's one of the topics, you know, I've been focusing on the last couple of years. You know, it's not fair to a lot of our taxpayers who are senior citizens. They're on Medicare Part B, you know, out of their $2,000 Social Security check, they're paying $202 a month, right? Nobody's subsidizing them, right? That's out of their pocket. Many of our seniors have to buy a supplemental plan at additional cost, right? And then we see, you know, over, you know, close to $45,000 for a school family plan. Jim, it's just not fair.
I understand.
We gotta get that cost down.
There, I think one of the things
trying.
that, and I'm sure you already know some of this, one of the things that has to happen is that the negotiation for new contracts, new health care, those kinds of things, those things really need to be scrutinized very closely, and come up with new and novel ways to approach them. Things like setting up those wage grades where everybody's at a step 10 and they're getting 4% increases because that was pre-negotiated 3 years ago is unfathomable at today. Like looking at that today to say all of the employees are at step 10 and they're going to get a 4% increase. Whoa, we're all like, wait, we don't get 4% increases. I don't see how that can happen. So I think somewhere along the line there needs to be instead of percentages, there needs to be a discussion regarding, you know, inflation plus,
Yeah,
or
it's
the
tied to
same way.
inflation.
Yeah, the same way, you know, cost of livings are done, the same way all those other things are, you know, inflation plus or inflation minus or some of those things, in order to keep this at a rate that is
Sustainable.
gonna, because it is not. And negotiated agreements done several years in advance, and I get you don't wanna do them every year because you run the risk of alienating people.
And I think that the hard part with that too, and I mean, Deb, you sat on the other side for years. The union doesn't want a 1-year agreement. You
I
know,
understand.
the
People want
union,
stability.
right? They
Yeah,
want stability. They want to see a
Yeah.
3 to 5 year. You know,
And
we've
that's
done.
fine, I think, if you tie it to the economy,
Yep,
as
we've
opposed to hard numbers.
Yeah,
So
kind of
we
a,
have done year to year in the past when
Yep.
the economy has been tough. And there have been times when collective bargaining agreements didn't pass.
correct
So employees stay
at
where they are
were.
and don't get any increases. So there is room to negotiate. If we are in extremely hard times, we can just do 1 year and say, look, we can't foresee what's happening because things are so volatile right now. Let's do a 1. But it's to everybody's advantage to do more because it's a long, intensive process.
Right.
Mhm.
I mean, through COVID, I think it was, you know, when COVID hit, everything was shut down.
Mhm.
There were a couple of quick meetings that they had and said 1%, whatever it is, you know,
Yeah.
and just continue for another year, and that's what we put out there, because things were crazy. So, I don't disagree. We need to find a way to make it everything to scale
Mhm.
to the economy. And you know what? Maybe there's a year the economy's in a really good place, and a 6% raise is in order. I'm not saying that. I'm just throwing
No,
that
I
out there.
just-
But
I
if
don't see that
but
happening,
if CPI is there, if you tie it to CPI, if you tie it to something else that everybody's kind of tied to, the seniors, the this or that, you know, the cost in health insurance, yeah, it's gone up for them as well. Their 12% portion of it. Now with the savings, you know, they're going to have a savings as well, but they're going to have more cost out of pocket for the new plan that that looks as though they're going to approve switching.
Okay, no, I understand.
So I
I have some more questions
Yeah,
on
me too.
the new paper that we got with the paraprofessionals. Were you given any indication about why the number is now 101.25?
.25.
I guess it's the kids coming in from the preschool.
I don't know that that was from the kids from the preschool, because they should have been
Or coming into the preschool?
coming in, no, because I believe that states them where they're gonna be K through 6.
Yeah, I was gonna
Um,
say K through 6, that,
Because
Oh,
Because
right.
there's only,
Right.
there's one in the preschool, so 2 in K2, 1 in 3-4, and 2 in 5-6, with 1 at the charter school. I was just trying to see.
It would just be nice to know, like, oh, well, we need 2 one-on-one paraprofessionals now instead of 1, or, you
How
know,
many
we've
kids
had
have
an
one-on-one
influx
100% of the time?
you know,
well,
5 more kids have been identified, or, you know, don't have to be specific about what grade level or anything like that, but it would be nice to be able to understand why that number has doubled in a month.
Well, not even a month, we just had the deliberative session.
Well, he
The
said she
number-
had the numbers
She
there.
had the
just
numbers
wasn't-
there.
But at the last
Lisa,
meeting,
I-
we were told
so,
56.
I did not know this prior to starting the meeting. Lisa had numbers, and she wasn't asked specifically about them, and therefore she didn't present them. And, go ahead.
No, you finish, I don't wanna interrupt.
No, it's,
I'm just saying, we heard that number, I can't tell you how many times on Monday night. 56, you know, I don't know how many times it was repeated.
but never from,
Yeah, but wouldn't you have thought at one point, somebody would say, well, I really need to correct that? Jim, I am just dumbfounded. I think we used a lot of time talking about
That
this on Monday
paraprof-
night.
which,
You know,
this
on and
number
on.
would potentially have changed that entire discussion.
Exactly.
I completely
exactly.
agree.
So I'm not gonna,
I'm as bothered as you are that we weren't given that number Monday night.
Jim,
I'm
quick
not
question
putting
on
any
the,
more
on the
time into this. I'm
paraprofessionals.
done.
I think full-time equivalents, that's, you know, my contracting hat. Okay, 101.25 hours per week comes out to 2.53
Yeah.
FTE.
It
But you
doesn't-
have 5 people listed there.
It doesn't, because they.
You only have
they
30, I
only
think
have
30 to 32 hours a week.
30,
No.
Yeah, are they all
I thought it was 25.
part-timers
No,
or
they're-
something?
25
34.
hours per week.
they're 34 hours a week.
So the
But not all that
5 of
time
them
can
are
be
34 hours a week?
But 34 hours a week is
Right.
the hours they work, it's not the hours that.
Is walk through the door to walk
Professional.
out the door, 34
Right.
hours a week.
Right, so-
You have to factor in,
So there's about
Lunch duty,
24
recess
hours
duty.
a week per para
Lunch.
where they are available to work with students, because students aren't at lunch, students aren't at recess,
Right.
so.
No, that's what, you're answering my question, I just wanna know,
Yeah,
you
no,
know, how
I-
many hours, because I'm looking going, wait, are there 5 full-time people, but they were only
So I
working
used-
2.53
Right,
part-time?
I use 25 as a,
Okay,
You
So
okay.
also
it's
have
a
to understand,
round.
Joe, that, the 101.25, this is how the 56.5 was explained.
Yeah.
Was that's if you take each child's IEP and look at how many of them have support hours from paraprofessionals in them, and that would be servicing those kids one-on-one with a paraprofessional, when most of the time you can group kids and have 2 or 3 in a
Correct.
group and service those 2 and 3 kids hours with
Right.
one person.
Right.
So it's really hard to say, that's the most hours we would need to provide. Because they would all be done one-on-one at different times.
But each para's working about 34 hours,
I believe
billable hours,
I
that's
believe
their-
their contract is 34 or 34 and a half hours a week.
Okay. Per person.
Correct.
and you're saying this new number is because these paraprofessionals, other than the preschool para, are all under special ed. So these
They are all listed under.
So that's all
and
IEP.
special ed,
and-
so this is
504
all
numbers.
IEP driven. We went from 56, now you're telling us it went to whatever, 100, 101?
Yes.
which is an additional 44 and 3/4 hours.
I'm
Those numbers come
sorry.
from the state, Jim?
No, these come from the special ed director based on IEP.
Okay.
Looking at the
alright.
IEP.
Looking at the
Alright.
needs
adding
or
them up.
something.
Right,
Okay.
looking at the specific IEPs of the students for next year.
Which were asked for at the they were provided at the December board meeting.
And December, in January, when we had the hearing.
Public hearing.
And then we had the deliberative, and we never heard this number, it was always 56. I'm all done talking about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
we're
No,
it
done.
is what it is.
It
We
is what
can't
it is,
change
yeah.
how we got to this number.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
know that we're
I'm
now.
not sure, is 101 correct?
I'm just trying to understand how the
I
numbers
have to,
calculate.
we
Based,
have,
based on the IEPs as of today, or as of Monday, or as of whenever she redid the numbers, this number is correct.
Isn't it convenient?
I'm not going to
That's,
Okay.
yeah.
read any nefarious discussions
Okay.
into that. We're going, I at least am going to take those numbers at face value, that these are professionals who are doing their job. Those are the numbers that they are. It's unfortunate, I think, that these numbers did not come
It's
to light.
irresponsible
And yeah,
that we're here at this point.
at, you know, like the 11th,
This is something we've
11:30.
asked for,
As I
I
said,
personally
11:49.
asked for.
for months,
Yep,
for months.
and we were told 56.5, 56.5, and it makes me look bad when I'm at a deliberative and I'm talking 56.5, and then we're sitting at a budget committee meeting saying, oh, nope, sorry, it's doubled.
That's double.
It's just,
Yeah.
Close to double, yeah. Yeah.
it's not okay.
Nicole.
Yes, ma'am.
I know I have to talk to you, but I'm around really for Jim, and he's over here, so I'm not really ignoring you. Can I find out what the top 1, 2, or 3 things that were missing from education this year, working on a default budget?
You mean like what's missing from the default
What
budget?
did the kids go without this year?
If we don't
No.
pass the budget,
No,
I know
they
what you're
already
saying.
had,
We're on
we're
a
on a
default.
oh, well, we're
default.
on a default budget.
From
I was
last
wondering
year.
what was
Yeah.
lacking.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't think, I can't answer that question. I don't think anything from last year's default is lacking. Next year's default is different.
Okay.
And I will tell, if you would like the answer to that, I'm happy to
Well,
provide.
Definitely.
Well,
So-
but just an observational thing is that we went to default and the numbers went up. Proficiency went up. So I don't think more time in school or more money increases outcome at all. I've said it since my kids were this big. And, you know, although I wasn't a proponent for full day kindergarten, we were promised increased test scores, promised, graphed, charted. They have done nothing but go tank down since we did full day kindergarten, which is not mandated by the state. We only have to have a half day program, just so you know.
Technically, kindergarten's not mandated by the state at all. You don't.
No, I mean, you don't have to go. School must provide a
We have to
half day.
provide, but they
A
don't
half
have to
day,
attend.
yeah. So, I did not allow my child to go to full day, but that being said, these are my observations. The state that Doug was reading off of, I don't think it's fair for them to list the cost per pupil and not say, this school has a preschool and this one doesn't and this one does. Then you know nothing. Why would you compare? How would you do that, a graph like that? Or a chart, or, you know, like, if Jim's saying that it changes the number so drastically, that doesn't make sense to me. Unless they put a little, like you said, an asterisk, preschool, you know, next to the ones. That doesn't make any sense. That they
I don't
include
control what
preschool.
the
Almost
state does, I
no
know.
public schools have preschools in them.
And it's not about having the preschool that changes that number.
Yeah.
It's about the students
How
being
to count.
counted in the cost per student.
Right.
And I
Right.
don't know if it's only counting those that we are required to educate.
Which would make the cost go way up because they would be, a lot of districts would have out of district placements.
But we're doing it in-house,
In-house,
which
yeah.
is saving us money.
Right.
So, I just wanna make sure
No, I understood
Nicole was
that.
done before
No, I understood
if we
that.
go to default this year,
Yes.
what changes?
Yes, exactly.
Revenues incoming for the preschool. We would not be able to take the preschool and put it in the Madison budget. So there are revenues attached to that are baseline revenues, which gets us to the total cost of us taking over the preschool, which was $16,000. And I don't have that right in front of me, so I can't give you the exact
Well,
number.
the budget for the preschool is 239,000.
In the SAU.
This looked like it was in our budget as well.
So SAU was more. And I'm just,
241 in the SAU.
so basically what happens is we have this program in the SAU now. SAU is running the program. They have 2 paraprofessionals, 1 teacher. We're saying that we should be able to do it with 1 paraprofessional and being able to possibly utilize some of other time from other paras as needed. So we can do it a little more cost effective at that point. We're factoring in income from Freedom and Tamworth of a minimum of $10,000, which is a placeholder number for them to have their students at our school, to have spots available for their students. And then we factored in what the average income was for the regular education students that are pay for play, so that are paying to come to the daily program. What's not factored into any of those numbers is income from special ed students from the other 2 districts. Because if they have if Tamworth has a special ed student, they're gonna pay us, Madison, for that part of the program for that kid, and also any other related services that are needed that we provide in Madison. Now, if that child needs a one-on-one para, that school will provide that para for them at our school. It allows us to be able to utilize the staff we have and not double things like coordination of substitutes, administration not being in the building because the SAU is really the administrator of that program. It allows us a lot more flexibility to even look at how we can grow and maybe expand that program or decrease that program later on. Maybe we find that in a couple of years there's a need for only a half-day program 5 days a week, or a full-day program 3 days a week. As being just a Madison program, those things can be altered. But if our default budget passes, if we go into default again this year, the preschool stays at the SAU.
Is that the only difference?
That is pretty much your only difference.
Isn't the librarian
The
going to be-
0.2% library position as well, yes, that was changed on the floor the other night. That is not in the default budget either.
So that position is only at 0.8.
That is correct. And I believe the cost per tax dollar, I don't know what the difference in number was, but it was very minimal because of the.
$2, okay.
It was
Okay.
per-
No, that was
per
for the
100,000.
$27,000.
That's what I
That was for the 27. Trust me, I remember that number. $2.30 per 100,000. But for the versus the default, because the default has more revenue attached to it than the operating budget because of the preschool. So it's a big number difference, but overall tax impact is very minimal. And I'm sorry I don't have that. I've been driving, or I would have written it down to have it.
Well, I remember our discussions at the joint board was that it was the net fluctuation would be $15,000 more.
Correct.
For the preschool to come to Madison.
To come to Madison. So figure $15,000, 27 was $223.70 for 100,000. Cut it in half, call it 12 cents. $12 per $100,000 home.
Jim,
So-
quick, oh, sorry.
Go ahead. So ostensibly, it costs us, weighing revenues and expenses, it costs us $15,000. Bottom line to the budget when you're doing, revenues and expenses, it's $15,000 additional to have the preschool in, or run by Madison.
Run by Madison,
Okay,
providing no sending special ed students from Tamworth or Freedom. The minute they send a special ed student, that cost to us goes down because we're gonna bill.
right.
So it goes into the revenue, it goes
Since
into the
you can't
revenue.
predict that.
You can't predict that, so we're going on the,
The 15,000
that is correct.
It's
when all
actually
is said and
15
done.
and a half, but
50, yeah.
Okay.
15.
Jim, one of the things, and it's still stuck in my head from the last ABC, Sarah Grillo,
Yes,
chair of the Freedom School Board,
Yes.
came with Dr. Whalen.
yes.
And she was pushing that the preschool move to Madison.
Yes.
Because I guess in Freedom, there's only 3 students, or there's a small number, right? They
Correct.
and it seemed to be money driven to me from her perspective. It seemed they were trying to transfer their cost to us. how much would they actually reimburse Madison? You know what I mean? Are we taking on costs from these other towns? Because, you know, they're trying to push it onto us?
So they're all gonna get their money back from, if this passes in Madison, they're all gonna get their money back from the SAU, as well as we are. You know, we're getting 85, call it Freedom, it's apportionment, 60-something thousand. They're gonna get that back. Now, on any given year, Freedom has a lot less students than we do. So if they have one preschool student, it could cost them $20,000. And these are just, I'm just throwing numbers out there.
No,
that
I understand, yeah.
If
That's
they have,
if they're identified.
if it's an identified student, so a special ed student in the preschool, so Tamworth could save some money there doing it that way. Yeah, Freedom,
I
I'm
guess my
sorry.
question is,
So it would cost them $10,000 to play.
Just to have a
Just to
placeholder.
preserve that they
Okay.
can
For
send their
school of
students.
records.
That is correct.
So that way on all their real estate and everything, they can say, our preschool of record is Madison Elementary.
Yes.
So
And we will
you can have
accept
that
their, and we're agreeing to
To
accept their
students.
students.
Okay, so it costs them a minimum of $10,000 if they send nobody.
Yes.
If they send 3 students that are not special ed,
Those
what
are-
does that cost look like
Though,
to them?
$10,000.
nothing, it costs the town of Freedom $10,000.
Right.
And it costs the parents.
Well, I just want costs. I don't care who pays it at this particular moment.
So $10,000, well, so, because they're pay-for-play students. So, Deb, do you know the daily rate, $23 a day? It's what the preschools in the area are charging.
is that,
It's
is that
roughly-
the
Who
going rate or
sets that
something?
rate?
Yeah, yeah.
Where does that rate
So
get set?
so currently that rate's set by the SAU.
Okay.
When it's in Madison, that rate would be set by Madison.
What did you envision for this year?
I think
should that
I
pass?
think we haven't done anything because it's not us.
Come on, you had to have done some prior planning.
I'm
thinking
guessing
ahead.
the way Heather Sherwood ran the numbers is based on what it is now.
Okay.
What they're charging
That's
current.
acceptable. So
Yes.
it's $23.
I believe it's $24 a day, or per session. I don't know that exact number off the
And
top of my
school
head.
is what, 180 days?
180 days, but preschool students, again, they can pick and choose.
How many hours is that?
Right, they don't-
What do you
So
mean
we
they
do,
can
we
pick
do a
and
full,
choose?
we have an 8-hour program. I don't know if it's
No,
per
and that's why
session.
you can't really give a number. Sorry.
$30 15 years ago for a half day.
So
Jim, I guess, Jim, my concern is by taking on the preschool here in Madison, are we subsidizing Freedom and Tamworth? You know, additional cost to us that they will not be reimbursing us?
No.
Okay,
No.
I just want to make sure that we're not
At the
getting
end-
stuck with a bill that we weren't expecting.
And at the end of the day, what's gonna happen if this open enrollment happens, through the town, we could have people from other districts, say, us be looking to get into our preschool. The special ed portion of the preschool does open us up to allow other towns to reach out to us as well. A lot of the towns use Children Unlimited or, this one in Tamworth, Bear Camp, thank you.
Yeah, OCC has, I think,
Yep.
childcare and things.
So there are
Yeah.
different ones out there, but in the past, we've spent anywhere from $20,000 on a preschool student, upwards of, I think the highest year we could see in record the other night that we talked about was in the low 80s for multiple preschool students, that we paid to Children Unlimited or other districts.
what's the max number of preschool students we can handle?
I believe the max number was, that was a tough number, 18,
It's hard
20.
to say because they don't all come
Every day.
every day.
All day.
So you don't, like, you
If
might
they all
have
came
20,
every day, if they all came,
but
what's
they
the
don't
max?
all come
How
every
many-
day.
I understand
How many
that.
per day?
How many can you handle
What is
per
it,
day? What's
20
the
in a
max?
class?
No, I was gonna say with
25?
early childhood, it's different.
It's,
I want to say with 2 teaching, so your parent, I think 18, I think is
20 to 25.
Okay,
20 to
all right.
25, okay.
So
20 to
yeah.
25, Mike's.
And
Thank you,
we
Mike.
have, is Mike,
Thank you.
is Mike?
Yes,
He's
yes.
watching.
Mike was intending on coming
Well, that's
tonight. He got
exactly-
Hi,
pulled
Mike.
somewhere else.
I think that's
So,
a reasonable number,
I'm
yeah.
trying to,
Yeah.
Grab
well, I'm sure
accurate
he's
answers.
listening and, yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Okay, so all of these conversations would have been really great to have like last month, but we are where we are. I'm not gonna rehash that.
No.
We are where we are, and the goal we have tonight is to figure out where we actually stand, what this actually looks like, and then revote. We have no
Yeah, we
choice.
need
We
to
have
revote.
to
Yeah, we
revote
need
because
to
of the change in the $27,000 change. We have to revote. But the question is, we want to know what we're really voting on, and what impact if we were to vote the same and 5-0 disapprove, or 6-0, whatever it is, disapprove or not recommend, so to speak, the budget. What does that mean to the default budget, and what is the risk to our students, our preschool students especially, because they're the ones not in the default budget.
Correct.
And so a $23 a day times 100, if they were to come so do they pay by day that they're there, or do they just like
They contract to,
for the full year, and you come whether, like most daycares?
I believe it's quarterly. I don't think it is.
But is it like you reserve a spot for the whole year, and whether you're there or not, you pay for that spot to be there, because otherwise another child could be using that spot. Just like my son and daughter pay for daycare for their child.
And if they don't show up, they don't.
they still pay.
You still pay.
They're still paying. So
So preschool right here.
no. Oof.
I'm getting
No, he said preschool.
$801.
He's-
Well, I'm getting $4,140 a year.
$801 in New Hampshire to $1,100 a month to send your child to preschool. And we're charging.
Right, but those are
full-
independent.
$4,000 a
The-
year.
right. So
No,
It's $23 a day times 180 days is $4,140.
22.50 a
I'm
day.
reading.
All right, so we're gonna 23.
But yep, no. But I just I wanted to give you the
No,
correct
fine.
number.
Thank you.
If they do the before school program, it's another $5 a day, and if they do the after school program, it's another $7 a day.
So 12 plus
So yeah, so
12
but
plus
so
2250.
right, so essentially
$36.
The in-home ones are $1,000 a month.
No, 35.
35.
But the school-based ones are $800 a month.
35 times 180 is
But-
still cheap.
If I
That's
understand correctly, though, if we say
but then you only
no,
pay that if you don't have an identifier.
I'm sorry, we
No,
what?
just talking
I'm sorry,
about
let
you
Lance
wanna send
speak.
your kid
Hey,
to
Yeah.
daycare or preschool.
Nicole,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Can we let
if
Lance-
I understand correctly from what we heard at the deliberative, that the preschool would go into Madison's budget. If Madison's budget fails and we go to default, the preschool still is retained by the
In the SAU, correct.
So the
At a
preschool
higher
does-
cost.
No, the preschool's
preschool
not going
doesn't
away.
go away.
But
No.
we would, if it stays in
lose
the default.
revenue.
Yeah, well, not that much. It's
I was gonna say.
$6,300 for a kid.
Yeah, but that's if we don't have it. Again, we can't base off of.
No,
identifier.
you don't
But
know, but
but we would still owe the SAU the $86,000 if we
Yes.
hold the preschool with us. And two things. One is anybody working at that preschool, if it's retained by the SAU, is an SAU employee. We have no real control over that.
it's okay.
Maybe.
Well,
Yeah.
One of the things that we have focused on is shared resources and being able to move people around. If the SAU retains the preschool, you don't have the ability to move that para around if they are only needed for half a day and then use them somewhere else in the school the other half. They're an SAU asset. We can't move them.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
No, they-
Because in our budget,
Mhm.
we have a preschool para.
Yes.
Yes.
So is that preschool para in the default?
No. That teacher nor
So
the
that's
teacher
another thing.
or
that-
para
you know how
are
you
part of
asked
that.
What would be
default.
impacted by the
and-
default?
Well, that's
this
why I
whole-
said the
this whole
preschool.
thing,
The
that
whole
whole
thing.
preschool.
But
so
I
the
think when you
teacher
say
and
the preschool, people get the idea that the preschool stops happening.
No, and that's why
It's
at
the
the deliberative.
para.
It
Right.
was very
That-
clear at the
right.
deliberative that
It doesn't really go away either, it just appears in the
But-
SAU.
The
it,
SAU
it goes away
costs-
from our control.
It goes
That-
away
Yes,
from right.
that
So
is
two things happen. One is it stays in the end, which was why I asked the question of Dr. Whalen, because when he said that if both budgets fail, if
Right.
both budgets fail, the preschool goes away, and I'm like, no.
No, it
And-
doesn't.
You stepped ahead of me in saying, hold
Wait,
on,
time
wait a
out,
minute, yeah.
time out. Don't do that. Don't say that. And I think what he meant was the preschool budget part goes away in
In the Madison
Madison
budget.
And I think he just
It
didn't.
is effectively in both budget, it's
Correct.
double budgeted Madison and SAU.
Right.
currently.
And in the SAU, it's budgeted in the default and in the operating
Yes.
budget.
Yes.
We didn't want it to go away.
No, we don't want it.
No, we
No,
don't
no,
want it to
no,
go away.
The program doesn't go, Linda's like, oh my God, this is a whole lot.
Poor
of
Linda's
stuff.
trying to.
She's writing
keep
notes.
You
this-
got all the stats? Can you read that back?
Jake, Jake, get them to move on.
Yeah.
They discussed the preschool.
Yeah.
For
A lot.
minutes.
Budget was leaving there.
Dot, dot, dot.
All right.
All right, so there is benefit to us owning the preschool because you have use of those resources. You have the ability to move those resources. You have the ability to utilize those resources in other ways that we lose that ability. The question is that ability to do that so significant that it warrants potentially, because really what it does is it, and I'm going to say this again because this happens in our budgets, we're backed into a corner as a taxpayer to having to pass a $7.3 million budget to, which is really only 6.9 because of that 400,000.
400K.
But the $6.9 million taxpayer impact to retain control of a preschool, to retain control of those
But that,
limited resources. There's 3 resources. Two teachers and a para, right?
No.
one teacher, one
para.
para.
Okay. To retain the control, if you will, of 2 resource bodies.
But it's also to retain control over what we charge for services.
correct.
Yes.
And like, we could
Potential
control the
value.
cost of what pay to play is and.
But those are currently negotiated and set by the SAU.
Because that's,
Board.
yes,
But
yes,
we
they,
just-
But without any
Yeah.
input from us?
No, joint board.
with input from the joint board.
Okay, so,
So 15 board
we
members,
don't lose control. We lose
a
we
ton.
lose control. We don't lose the input though. The input is still there.
Right, but it makes it easier for the town of Madison to have more quality input because you have a board of 5 to listen to the town of Madison than trying to reach out to a board of 15 and maybe the town of Tamworth saying, no, you're charging too much. Or the town of Freedom said,
We'll all say that because they don't want to pay that.
We don't want to pay.
I
it,
would
that's
say
my
that.
concern.
Right, I get it, but what I'm saying is that it brings it all to one place to be able to be managed. It allows us to downsize by 1 paraprofessional in the program in and of itself to make that work.
Because you said the SAU has 2 pairs.
The SAU has 2 because they have to factor on that bubble need to be able to accommodate the students, where we may be able to do it with what
Because
we
we have 5
Because
in
we
the other
have-
area.
And our total overall operating budget to look at is down over $400,000 from last year's budget when you look at it. So the trend, and I know you can say that, Nan, but from what we got what we received for a default budget from the town is we are down over $400,000 from that. Yes, we're down 2 staff members that we didn't fill this year, but we had, and we're still, I mean, to this day, I think there's still a posted half-time teaching position to help in the K2. So it's not that we couldn't fill the position, we're making do. Are we making do the best we can? Maybe not, but we're making do with what we have and we have available. So we have cut, the budget is down from last year's, even the default. So we've worked very hard to do that. What I'd like the budget committee to do, and I brought this to Sharon, your meeting, I'll stop.
No, I just
No, no.
want to clarify that reduction.
Sure.
You're saying we're down how much?
I believe
From
it's,
last year's default budget to this year's proposed budget is, what, $400,000?
So let's just clarify, because regular education is up 4%. Special education, that's where your cost is down. Out of district placement saved you, what, 300 and?
It's
$300 something, $27,000. Special education transportation is down $123,000, and then regular education is $106. It's a total of $607,000 without the school board picking up a pencil. That was special ed, okay, out of district placement, special ed transportation, and then regular transportation.
So we're down 2 teaching staff that were in that budget. We're down
Oh,
1 para from that budget that were approved as default. Now, we offset one of the teaching positions with the preschool,
correct.
and we offset para with the preschool. So if you take the preschool out of the mix, because we're adding them back in. Mike's texting me probably because, nope, maybe not. Sorry, I felt my hand going. So if you look at, we are down. We're down teaching staff. We're down paraprofessional
Yes,
staff
right.
from last year. We are down special ed
From the budget last year.
from what was approved by the town
Correct.
last year. Yes.
You are not down teaching staff necessarily
From
in
what's
actual
currently
bodies
in the
building.
bodies. Correct. And that sheet that I created early in the year was confusing to many people.
Yeah.
I ditched it because I was trying to show what was approved, what we're operating under, and what we're going to. So we are down staff. We went out and renegotiated the bus contract. I still want to look, now that we're with the same carrier that Tamworth's with, I want to start looking at, can we combine routes that go to the middle school and high school, or to the high school, I'm sorry. Are there ways that we can make those work better? They need to get in play before we can see what's going to work for those. So are we making strides? Yes.
Oh, I agree, but you need to be, instead of giving just the facts or the information you want us to hear, you need to give the whole story. Because
What part of the story am I not giving?
Well, because you're trying to explain we're down teachers, we're down this. The biggest decrease came from the special ed line.
That's
Yes.
down $372,000.
All right.
Correct.
And then transportation was another 234. You add that up, it's 31%.
But there are things that go up.
There
The
were-
collective
Regular
bargaining agreement that was
education went up
approved.
4%. So, I guess I'm just frustrated, that's all.
I understand.
And I'm sure you are as well, but
And we're trying, I think it's a continual we're trying, but if we keep getting kicked back, I asked the budget committee early on in the year, give us your recommendations. Sharon and I had this talk the other night. We never got any. The town gets be down 1%, be down 2%. No, we never got it. Deb came to us and said they haven't given us a recommendation yet. Sharon said to me, if I tell you 150,000, you're going to cut 150,000, we're going to call it done. I just, if you give us, if the advisory budget committee gives us some advice early on that we can work with.
Cut the budget. That's been the advice all along.
We have.
Cut your budget and
We have.
cut it as much as you possibly can. And if you can stand here tonight and tell me that the 6.943,152.85 is the lowest you can possibly go and still function with a fully functional school system that provides and delivers quality education to our students, and you can tell me that in good conscience that there is no other place that this could be whittled down or moved around or whatever. Well, we added another $27,000.
The $27,000. I mean, yes.
So
I mean,
697.
when somebody stood up at the deliberative session the other night, I was very clear to say when they wanted to add a paraprofessional back into the budget, I said, based on the recommendations from our administration, I don't recommend this. I mean, would I love to have extra staff in the building to move about? Yes, but we don't have it. We don't need it. I don't want to build the town for something we don't need.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I stand behind the budget that we've put forward.
Jim, I got a quick question. This is anybody watching, or the taxpayers are going to have to vote on this article.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
we're discussing all the positions. The budget system is very confusing. What is the advantage to the Madison taxpayer to move the preschool from SAU to here? In your opinion, what would it benefit the town, and why should we do this?
In the long run, our overall cost for that program should be able to go down by reducing one staff member.
Okay.
We can share pieces. SAU staff, we won't have to increase more staff to manage billing and all of that. It can be handled inside of Madison. So, and then the income that we can derive from special ed students coming to us and/or provide the regular ed students the opportunity to pay for play to come into our school and be in our school early to potentially get identified or not get identified, but receive services early on that help them to grow in that type of a community rather than, you know, an in-home daycare is great for most. Some kids would strive from being with the older kids. Having the preschoolers with us is great.
Okay.
You know, I mean, you talk to some of the kids now, they talk about how fun having the preschool kids have been in the school. It adds a different level of light. So revenue for me is what I would say is we can potentially change revenues moving forward, and Mike's giving you chime in as well. Plus access to IDA preschool grants. So IDA preschool grants would be available from a district level, but not from an SAU level.
Okay.
So more federal funding.
No, thank you. I'm just kind of what is the net gain for us or the advantage if we decide to proceed this way? Not here tonight, but as the taxpayer, what's the benefit to the taxpayer for
yes.
this?
We have
Yeah.
to vote.
We have to vote, but again, you know, the public's gonna have to vote on Article 2.
Absolutely.
I agree.
You know, and what is, you know, they're gonna wanna know what is the benefit as well.
And I'm here trying to convince the group of 6, because ultimately, and you guys have said, if the budget committee writes recommended, a lot of people go down and they, budget committee recommended it, I'm gonna vote for it.
True.
And don't listen to everything. A lot of people listen to everything, but I'm looking for what we've had in the past, which was the budget committee working alongside us to help get these things where we feel comfortable they are, so that the town can feel comfortable that they are.
Mm-hmm.
So the bottom line is last year's the default budget that we're operating under currently is 7.314 million. The budget proposed for this year, the regular budget proposed, is 6.943,152. We're gonna leave off the 0.85.
Roughly $400,000.
Yeah. It's a $371,000 decrease from the default budget. That the regular budget is $371,000 decreased from that. It's a 5.22% decrease.
And
So
I
is
spoke.
the 400,000 that we consider as revenue in this article that we have this year in that number
No.
or
No.
not?
No, this
So
is
that
the,
number would be lower if we
No, it
can-
would be higher. It'll be the number, you have to add it and then you get it and it takes it away.
the
So,
default number would have had that $400,000 added to it as well.
Okay.
yes. So
Because the state has never required us to
So if we,
do it that way.
That's what I thought.
The
is that
warrant
this was a
article
new thing.
is 7.37 and the default is 7.11.
Yeah, but that's a new, that's what I was saying is, I think that's a new thing, we didn't have to do that last year.
We didn't have to do that $400,000 number
Right.
last
Which
year.
is why I mentioned to people that the tax impact is actually 6.9 million.
Correct.
so you just
So what I'm
compared
thinking is you could take that
the-
400,000 off of
the
that.
proposed budget
Last
against last year's default budget.
Correct.
What is this current default as compared to last year's default?
This default would be 7,114,497.
So
But,
essentially, if
but
we, if
take that $400,000 out of that too.
Well, right, so it's 6.7 million. 6.7 and then, so 6.7.
$255K difference.
No, it's more than that.
Is
Well,
it
that's
more
from the,
But
that's
which-
from
That
that.
one, that
It's,
Which direction?
it's 600K.
It's
This year's operating budget, which is a default budget, is about 500K more than what the default budget would be if we don't approve Article 2 and we end up with a default budget.
So-
It's
so default-
500K less.
it
I
is,
still have the question of,
Yeah.
no.
is the 400,000 in the default last year?
No.
We didn't,
No,
Here with
it has never been added to that
And
number.
that's why I'm not comparing the number here to.
So
this.
Sharon backed out the 400,000
Backed out the
from
400.
this year's
Right.
to
so the
show last year to this year.
Right, the default would be 6.7 million.
This
Okay?
year's default.
For this year's default would be 6.7 million.
Against-
Against last year's, which we're operating under, which is 7.3 million.
So the default is
Is-
down.
$500,000.
$500,000 and change.
So what would the proposed against default be?
Proposed against default is 370,000.
Okay.
That's what's in this
So
book.
down 370,000.
Yeah.
We're down 5.2%. What page is this?
Okay.
53. It's on page 53.
Okay.
And don't forget, the $86,000 coming back to the, from the
From the
SAU.
SAU for the preschool.
That we get
So
booked as
it'd be
income.
another, right.
Okay, no, I get it, all right.
I have one other question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Absolutely.
I remember in past years, now I may be totally wrong, that we had to move special ed students to a special
Out of
facility.
district placements, yes.
And that was very expensive.
Extremely expensive.
Do we still have that?
No.
We currently, I do not believe, have any
Okay.
out-of-district students. And that's where you're seeing a good amount of savings
That's why
on special
372.
education.
Okay.
And that's, they try the least restrictive environment as possible.
Understand.
Some kids it just doesn't.
I understand that, yeah.
But yes, so currently we do not have any.
Okay,
But we have done well. We have the special ed capital reserve. If this year's passes, that'll put us a little over $250,000, which would get us on a year that we get whacked when we don't have it budgeted to be able to pay that as needed.
and when do you identify those potential students?
So
they could-
if they're in the district now,
Yeah,
a lot of times we're able to figure out, or I shouldn't say we're, the administration is able to figure out what works best, and maybe they can see one coming down the line as saying, based on this past year, things are going a little wonky and crazy.
so I'll know 2 years from now that I'm gonna need to place someone out of district.
Yes, and then,
Potentially.
but then you could
Yeah, yeah.
have,
So you
you
could
could
plan
have
for it.
Jim Curran moves to town tomorrow
Right.
with
Oh,
a
yeah.
special ed student with a out of district placement. I was in Manchester,
Yeah.
and that's all signed off on. Town of Madison has to accept that,
Yeah.
and then they do their due diligence, but we're immediately accepting and the bill that goes with it.
Yeah, so I understand that if someone's coming into town that you've never seen before.
Correct.
You can't plan for that, but you could look at the potential students in town already that may need it, or if someone's coming from Manchester. So there is some level of planning you can do in the future.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Can you confirm how many teachers and paras K through 6? Is it 11?
Oh,
That's the number I
have that page.
Hold on.
There's two K2s.
Eight teachers.
Yeah, it says
8
That's-
teachers and
Well, because you have a reading specialist
10 pairs?
and an
the
RTI.
classroom teachers.
Well,
There's
paras.
six.
Classroom
6.
teachers.
6,
Yeah.
and then 5 paras, so it's 11.
And then a reading
We would
specialist
have
and an
five
RTI.
So the ratio is 8 kids per per adult then.
Well, it's not really if you're not counting the,
That's not counting the specialists.
so it would be less.
It could be as low as 6 kids per adult.
Because you have an RTI teacher
And a
and
reading
a
specialist.
reading specialist.
And is that ever published information?
They're all in the book.
This is.
Oh,
it was
I
in
mean,
there.
like the
Then he had
ratio, like,
created a-
so adults to children is 8 to 1, or 6 to 1, because that's just helpful. In a lot of other
But
states,
I
it's
think,
30 to 1.
But
I was gonna say, but I
that's
think
a
that's
skewed
misleading
number.
because if you have a one-on-one para,
Right.
you don't have
that-
If I have a one-on-one para,
Yeah,
that
you're right.
person can't be divided by
anyone
6
else.
students.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it done in the classroom, but just saying. Yeah.
Can I just clarify the paras on the preschool? You say 2, the SAU has 2 in their budget currently?
Yes, ma'am.
Do they contract with Madison? Does Madison send a Madison employee?
No.
The first year of the program, we did that, and they moved it because there was a lot of
Okay,
discussion with the union and can you push somebody here or there? So no, that
Okay.
was, right now, they are SAU 13 employees. And realistically, SAU 13 is not set up with any pay schedules for teaching staff or paraprofessional staff because we're traditionally an administrative unit. So it's really a very odd setup that we have now, the way it's set up.
But it was done to get it in place.
But it was done to get it in play, yes.
I think the other thing, Sharon, that Madison takes on is the keeping track of the financial aspect of it. So it takes it off the SAU, which is, you know, something we were looking to do as a joint board. Our financial department in the SAU is very much taxed. And so that would be taken on by an administrative assistant at the Madison, in
And
the
there's-
Madison School District.
And you
There's
get to.
enough bandwidth in that individual, we're not now going to 1.2 or something.
We're not adding anything to there. And the other thing is because they're staff within the school, they get to see the parents drop off in the morning and afternoon.
And they can
And
hand
say,
you the
hey,
bill.
hey, Jim, you haven't paid your bill yet. You know, rather than an email goes out, you know, or I gotta
Letter in
send
there.
Heather Sherwood from SAU 13 to go sit in front of the preschool and say, you owe me money, you owe me money, you owe me money.
Where's your check?
But it allows us to be able to manage that better as well.
Okay.
Okay. I
Wow.
think we've spent significant time on that.
No, that was good. Thank you for, you know, answering those questions, Jim.
Appreciate it. I guess the process then is to make a motion to re-vote on this Article 2. And then actually take a vote. So I think we need two motions. One is a motion to reconsider. Yes, Linda? Does that sound, she's like, I don't know.
Well,
but-
whether it is, I'll move to reconsider
Okay.
Article 2.
Thank you.
Yes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay.
I don't know if I
Deb
should
does not,
abstain.
yeah, well, you don't have to abstain, but I don't believe that you vote because you voted as a school
You
board
voted
member.
already, right,
Did we
on the school
vote
board?
to
Yeah.
redo the Article 2?
We did not vote to redo article, but I sent it out to make sure anybody
And I
didn't.
did
want
answer
to.
it, right?
Correct.
So are you not voting on a revised Article 2?
We are not revoting our position on Article 2. So the board has, I reached out to the board because after the deliberative, things were crazy. We did talk about the playground warrant article, but didn't talk about this one. So the next day I sent an email out saying, if anybody wants to, please let me know, and I would call a special meeting to revote. And I did not get any inclinations to do that
So it would remain 410.
at the school district.
At the school side, yeah, okay. All right, so we have a motion to reconsider. Do I have would someone like to make a motion one way or the other to approve or not approve?
I would like to make a motion to approve the budget as.
Article
we-
2?
Article 2 as we discussed here tonight.
Did we vote on the reconsideration though?
Yeah, they just did.
Yeah, we
Oh,
did.
Yeah, all in favor?
Oh, we
She-
were all in
That's
favor.
what she was saying.
Deb was just
Yeah.
concerned about an
Right.
abstention
I
and
should
She
all.
abstained.
So, okay, so not, okay, so it was a 5-0 with Deb not, because she was,
Yeah.
got it,
Right.
okay, I'm sorry.
She
I already
voted.
Pre-voted.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we recommend approval of Article 2 as we discussed here tonight.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any nays?
I do not recommend the budget.
Okay.
No, that's fair. What do we have?
4-1.
4-1.
4-1-0. All right. That's a half of what we have to do
Okay,
for the
Jim,
school tonight.
part 2.
Part 2. I don't know whether this now then affects anyone's discussion or consideration regarding the SAU budget. Yes, no, maybe, I don't know if there's any consideration there that needs to be. I'm just giving everybody the opportunity to do that or not do that.
Well, let's move on.
Okay. Then I think the only other article we need to do is Article 8, because Article 4, 5, 6, and 7 did not change. And so I believe that our vote would stand on those, we've not changed anything. Article 8, all of you seen Article 8?
Yes.
Well, I know Jake.
Yeah,
you-
sorry.
You've
We were-
seen Article 8?
We were hanging out together.
Alright. Right. This was a petition submission. It was to see if the school district will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $80,000 to support the completion of Phase 2 of the Madison Elementary School Playground Project, including removal of remaining deteriorated playground equipment and the installation of new playground equipment, including ADA accessible equipment, with said funds to be raised through local taxation. The school board recommends this article 140, so that's really does not recommend this article.
Right.
And I'm open for discussion. I asked at the deliberative session where the $80,000 came from. That was based on a couple of
Estimates.
quotes and estimates that they got for the work on here. I know that the school had actually, there was a petition in the preliminary.
The school had it
warrant.
on there, not a petition. So we as a board initially were going to put this up.
Right,
yes.
and then, but during your not deliberative, but during your
After
discussions.
the public hearing.
Your board meetings and things, it was removed, because it was felt, A, there is not a student that currently is ADA required for playground equipment, and B, that this could potentially be better served under the CIP and use money, put this back in the CIP.
Either
And
through
or
the
look for grants.
CIP, look for grants, and the biggest thing, I think reason that maybe we took it off, and Deb, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, is we were really trying to make sure we got the overall impact down. You know, and this was an extra, and I understand that it is necessary, and I understand that it does have value to the town as a town playground, to have it accessible for students that are disabled and wheelchairs or differently abled, we'll call it. I just don't know that this year was the right year to add that in. And I think we need to look really long and hard to find grants that could do this. Now, and it was brought up that someone said, if we have we have a student move in tomorrow that's in a wheelchair, I can utilize IDEA grant funds for the playground. But because I don't currently have it written into anyone's IEP that they need ADA compliant playground, I can't write it into a special education style grant. So for me personally, that was my position that I took on it, and I think as a board we discussed that to make sure that we don't want to leave I don't want to exclude anyone.
No.
But I want to look and see if we can find more grant funding for this, and maybe put it, like you said, into the CIP and make it as a capital improvement. But we'd have to push it out a few years at least to start building.
Bill, right.
Yes, and it's my understanding, the playground was recently redone the last year or so.
Yes.
The upgrade, and then they added the preschool kind of play area.
Yep, and the
Yeah.
preschool play area was done through the SAU and through some of that equipment actually came from Freedom when they had the preschool, and then
What would, if we had to upgrade to the ADA type accessibility?
Yeah.
What kind of improvements or changes would we have to make to the existing?
Nothing to the existing. So if you're in the school in the front lobby and you walk out, there's an area that's square to the right that kind of reflects the side of the building. There's a fire truck in there right now and a 4-square pad. I think those are the only pieces of equipment that are right there that would have to come out,
Okay.
that would be replaced with the ADA compliant.
And no, I like your idea, especially when it comes to ADA. I think there's a lot of grants out there, or special ed accessibility grants that we should pursue, and I think Sharon mentioned as well, it should be part of the CIP maybe for next year or the following year.
Because many grants don't give you 100%; they might give
Yeah.
you 75 to 80%, and so you'd have that 20% in the CIP
You'd have,
in
yeah.
order to offset those costs.
So there's no impact this year. We currently don't have any students that require ADA accessible.
That require it in their
Okay.
IEP, correct.
All right.
Okay. Any more discussion? Any other questions? No? All right.
Can I move,
You make a motion.
move Article 8 to a vote?
So moved. All right. Would anyone like to make a motion to either recommend or not
No,
recommend?
you don't need that. I just moved it to vote, so now we'll vote on it, yea or nay. You don't need it to recommend or not recommend.
Well, yay is to recommend.
Well, we'll
Right.
vote it,
Okay.
yeah.
All those in favor of Article 8? All those against Article 8?
Aye.
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 No.
We
Unanimous.
voted not.
We
to
voted
We
recommend.
voted
not.
not.
In a
Kind of-
convoluted
and
way.
kind of- yeah, it's a little.
Oh, sorry.
Not
Well,
to
and it's tough when the
recommend.
wording reads,
Yes, it
when,
does, yes.
you know, so if, like,
Or
if
if it's
ours say, the school board recommends 1, 4, that means the school board really doesn't recommend it.
Right.
And if we keep the wording the same on both sides, not to have people say, well, who the heck is doing what here?
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, so
Does
that
not
was
We-
clear, we
We are
do
not
recommend.
recommending
Right.
5 to 0.
5-0.
Okay, so your wording is gonna be different, your numbers are gonna be different than theirs
Yes.
in terms of that.
It does not
I
recommend.
will say the advisory budget committee does not recommend this appropriation 5-0-0.
Double negative.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, anything else on the
Government
school?
All right, Jim, anything else?
Got
I know we
Yeah.
covered it quite a bit, yeah.
Okay,
You good with me?
yeah.
Well,
Thank you.
I gotta go fix computers now.
Moving on.
All right, Mr. Curran.
Have a good night.
Good evening. We'll
Thank
see
you as well, we'll see you all soon.
Thanks for
Thank you,
coming.
thank you.
Selectmen update, Mr. Bowie, you got anything to let us know, to tell us before we talk about the budget and warrant articles?
Just I met with the boys at the DPW today about the salt shed for recommendations on size and things of that nature. So I've got a pretty good idea what they're looking for. I'm going to reach out to the building designer and get a preliminary plan and cost of the building. So hopefully we can have that. I mean, at this point, it doesn't do at this point us any good for
Doesn't help
budgeting.
us, right.
But, I mean, but it'll give us something to look forward to in the future, is the
That's something
idea.
else we should look for grants.
Yes, we discussed that
Like
as well.
DES grants
Yeah,
or
DES
something.
grants or anything like
Because
that.
of the chlorides, right,
Mhm.
contaminating the
Right,
ground and
so we had talked about
Yeah.
looking into different grants as far as funding, once we have
Are
it.
there EPA or DES standards for the salt sheds? So you know.
I'm in the process of making sure that there's not restrictive guidelines. I know obviously they need it covered.
But does it have to be like a lined pit so that, the
Well, so the idea,
chlorides
right?
won't
So what
migrate or
we were
whatever.
planning on was a poured concrete 8-foot wall, and then the building
Okay.
on top of it to allow us the height to back
Well, you gotta get the dump
the
truck
trailer
right?
trucks in
The
to
trailer
empty
truck.
them. Right.
Yeah.
So it would be lined with concrete. The base would be pavement, so that it wouldn't get eaten by.
Oh, that's right, because the
salt.
chlorides will eat the concrete.
Right. So the idea was to do right. It
It'll
is
be
it is
cheaper.
cheaper. And that was another thing, and so that was, and I guess just a synopsis. The front they were looking into to start the price on a 60 by 100 shed, and the idea was to take the front half, split that in half, and have sand on one side, salt on the other. So that would give you approximately 25 feet either side, about 30 feet deep. The back side would be cold storage. We get back equipment in, things like that. And then potentially, depending on timing and money, a lean-to off one side to then park the excavator and the grader underneath. Kind of try to get all the birds with one stone. If it's at least get the idea of what it's going to cost, because ideally we don't want $1 million worth of equipment sitting outside.
No.
We don't want to waste salt and water runoff, things like that. So to start kind of largest picture and then whittle our way down to
Or
what.
phase it.
Right,
Do it in
exactly, right.
phases.
So we know what.
But
what
allow for expansion and put the
exactly,
lean-to on
and
the side,
the
yeah.
discussion was if we're going to do this, we want to do this once. We want to have a building large enough that in the future, not that Madison has a lot of land to grow, but if things get larger and we need a little more, we don't want to have to be like, oh well, we built this shed, now we need another one because it's not enough to handle. So again, we were going to start and look at what that price kind of reflected, and then if we have to work our way back or what have you.
And both ends are open?
So the front end, I think, would be we call permanently open,
Yeah.
because it'll just be a wide open so you can get in,
Right.
which we could tarp or something if if need be. And the back would have a door, so it'd be a large roll-up door, so you could park equipment and things in there and then secure them.
Sure.
Because the concern is kids playing on the sand pile and things like that. We don't want the kid, that sort of thing. So if we can store most of the sand, and obviously we'll still have a sand pile, but equipment, everything would be able to be kind of secured
Inside.
inside, out of the UV, out of the rain, out of the.
You could have a wall between the two halves?
Yes. Yeah, and again, we discussed potentially like those preformed Coleman's concrete blocks so that when you're pushing in, kind of line the whole thing with those to keep the salt and calcium and all that off of the structure, and to allow you to be able to push in and dig and not push out on the actual structure. So, because those are relatively inexpensive things, and if they go to pot, it's easy to replace. And,
Replace, yeah.
Cool.
Good.
Yeah, I think. Other than
No, it's definitely needed compared to what's
It's
there.
That-
mandated,
It's
right?
mandated.
it's mandated, and the one we
Yeah,
have, I
yeah.
think, is about a stiff breeze away from just going kapow.
Plus, there's not a lot of capacity in it.
Right, exactly. I think he said they can fit approximately 90 yards in there if they stuff it full.
If they stuff it
Right,
to the front.
right. Because a load, I think they said a load is like a big load is 30 yards, and they sometimes can get 3 loads in there, but usually 2. But the idea would be able to stockpile more, and then if it sits, it's not. They'll be back further enough and graded in a way that the water won't run into the shed and then
Plus, the
deteriorate.
cost is probably cheaper if you buy 90 cubic yards instead of 30. You know,
Oh yeah,
I don't know if it's a
well, I guess
volume
it
discount.
depends
Yeah.
because it's transportation cost, right?
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's,
you bring it
you're
up
paying by the ton,
by the
and
ton.
then usually as far as I know, the transportation cost is worked into the tonnage
Yeah, we
price.
commit to
Right.
a ton amount each year.
So, but if we had it, then we don't have to worry about, oh, we're running low, can we get it? Because the problem with salt is if the state needs it first, we don't get it.
Oh, it's
Oh,
true.
this winter,
Right.
I think it's probably tough to come by.
So
Okay,
Okay, cool.
anything else?
I think
From us.
other than
Okay.
what's coming on the budget review, I think.
Okay, well then let's get to, you guys tell me, you wanna do warrants or you wanna do budget first? Cause I think, I don't know that one is easier than the other at the moment. Let's just keep it in the order that it is, we'll keep your budget review first. Okay, so Linda, this budget summary incorporates the changes that were made.
It does. The discussion that the selectmen had about raises, their 3% pool thing that they discussed
Right.
is incorporated into this. And the amount in the legal line that was discussed, the $8,000 got added to the legal line.
Okay,
I think those are the only changes that came out of Tuesday's meeting.
Yes. I believe you're correct.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to recall.
Yeah, I didn't make any of the changes on this.
Yeah, like I said, it was just, I think the big ones were the pay
I
and,
don't know that you wanna go line by line, we've gone line by line so often and you know, and at some certain point, if we have an issue with a particular section of the budget, you know, I'm gonna pick on the ambulance just cause it's the first thing.
Mhm.
I don't have an issue with the ambulance, but if, you know, if this had more lines in it and we have an issue with the bottom line on that, I think that it's, at that point, you just go back to the selectman and the department head and say, fix it, we gotta fix it. So, but.
Can I just make another comment?
Sure, you can make any comments you want.
I'm sitting here very frustrated, and my frustration is that we sit here meeting after meeting and we nitpick your budget, and I'm sorry,
yeah, it's part of the job.
because your budget is not nearly as big as the school budget, and I think this body does not do their due diligence in scrutinizing the school board's budget the way that you nitpick the town budget, and it is very frustrating sitting here.
I can't agree with you more.
Been there. 6 years.
It is a much bigger budget, and there are large parts of it that we don't have control over, but
So-
as the representative of the school board, to sit here and listen to everyone ask another school board member when I'm sitting right here, the questions is, I feel like I'm going to step down because Mr. Kern would be better served in this position.
I feel like we've rubber stamped.
I'm not even, I feel like my position here is not warranted.
Not being utilized.
I voted against the school budget, and not anybody at this table asked me a question.
So my point would be that you have been sitting here all year with us. We have had your input. Anytime that you have any additional input that you want to speak of, I don't necessarily know all the questions to ask you. You have all that information, and that's why, like, especially with like the selectmen as well.
But
They
even
have-
as we sit here, you ask questions. We were given numbers that have not, and we just have to accept them. There was no reason given to why the numbers doubled for paraprofessionals. No reason whatsoever.
He did.
None.
Okay, and in that we will differ, because I believe that I heard from him that there was a addition of individuals.
That the only way that could happen is if IEPs changed
Well, then,
in 1 month. And you cannot have 50 hours of paraprofessional support change in 1 month.
then
So that's a dereliction of duty.
why would you not have said that while we were sitting here talking to him about it? Why would you not have said time out?
We did say that.
We did.
You didn't say that. I'm not gonna. I don't want to squabble within the thing, but within the board. But if you have information, if you know that what he's saying is incorrect, we have no choice, because we don't have, just like we don't have from necessarily all the departments, all the line item, every single $15 for this part, $22 for this part. We have a number on here, and we ask the questions about it. And when I have gone to the board meetings, we've gone through the budget line by line by line, and have had the opportunity to ask questions there and bring it up in the school board meetings. One of the recommendations I'd like to make is, I think they should be meeting more than once a month, especially as we get into budget season. It should be every other week.
That's all well and good, and that is something I'm advocating for, because I don't think we have enough. But I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't feel like I am representing what you guys need, because it seems like whatever Mr. Curran brought tonight was what you needed. And so I don't feel like I am in a position where I am doing what you need me to do. So I plan to step away from this position so that someone who can do that better can step in.
And I would say to you that is, in my view, that's not necessarily correct. I think you were not given the information. All of the information that we got tonight is not information we had earlier.
That was all brand new.
That's all brand new.
And how can you check it that it's?
Well, we can't, that's
We're out
just
of
it.
So if the town came to you with something at the last minute, would you change your votes?
It depends on
It
what
depends.
it is and how much of it, and I have said to them, you need to have justifications, you need to come with rational arguments that indicate why this has changed. Okay, now I will tell you why I changed my vote, because even the default of the regular budget is still 5% less than the budget we're operating in, and it puts that preschool in under our control. Right?
But
For me, that was
you are
the biggest.
famous for saying at each meeting, just because the budget's less, we don't want you to stop looking for cuts.
And I said that tonight.
There, I'm sorry, I
Go ahead.
don't want to.
No, go right ahead.
At the deliberative, there were huge discussions. We went around and around. We both been in the school. We were in the buildings. We worked with the players. I have said at school board meetings that they lack credibility because they give you information, but they don't give you the full information. That's their history. That's my history, my opinion. You get information, you don't get the full. So, my frustration is for how many meetings, school board meetings, public hearings, deliberative sessions, we heard the numbers. Nobody changed it, nobody. And he said, well, we had them. Why didn't we hear them? I would have been suspicious then. I was cut off and said, no, you can't go there, Nan. But there's a reason for those suspicions. And, so yes, you say we have to take people at face value.
Well, unless you're going to call him a liar,
He's been given the information. I'm not calling him a liar. He was given this information.
And told to come and
He was given this information according to
I'm
him.
not calling him a liar. He's not a liar. He's presenting us with all the information that he had to make sure that you made an informed decision. But the fact that there's not the amount of questioning that you get on every department head has to come in and report, and
Well, that's what I would expect the school board is doing with its own budget.
but I think those would be recommendations that I could bring back if this board discussed that. And so I also feel like I was not given direction about what this body really wanted from the school board, because I was told from the other side, they want a number, they wanna go at, and I couldn't give them anything because it was just cut. So that's what I think, and I'm not blaming anybody, I just think I am not doing what it is that you need a school board representative to do.
Okay.
So,
So I think going forward, perhaps we can have that deeper discussion once this budget process is done as to how to facilitate that in a more meaningful manner, okay, going forward.
I'd
This
be
is,
happy to talk
yeah,
about
I
it
think,
going forward.
I think going forward, if there is that opportunity, I do think that members of the advisory budget committee need to spend more time going to the school board meetings. Okay, there's a lot of information that comes through those school board meetings, and I know Nan
I mean, there
goes
was
to-
only
I know
three
it
of us.
inside and out.
Yeah,
There
it
was
but
three of you
what
there.
does it matter?
So, at the deliberative, so it's just very frustrating, and I don't feel like I'm doing my job to this body, so I'm sorry for interrupting
Nope.
your presentation.
No, that's okay. That's quite all right.
And
You get the floor.
I don't want a floor.
I understand your frustration, and I hear your frustration, and so as we're moving forward, let's see what we can do to facilitate that better communication, that better process for whatever it is that we're seeking to do, okay? And it's not necessarily just scrutiny, it's just understanding where those numbers are coming from and what they mean. A lot of them, not a lot of them, some of them, probably at least a third of them are prescribed. Special education numbers, can't necessarily challenge them. They're kind of, set in a process and in a manner.
And not to interrupt, but that's what they expect. That's why
I
all
don't know
those
what that means,
paraprofessionals.
that's what they expect.
That's why all the paraprofessionals were put under the special ed budget, because you can't touch special ed. When it's up, it goes sky high, it's like, oh, we have to pay for it, because it's special ed, it's mandated. When it's down, which it was, nobody wants to pay attention to that. That's the reason our budget was down this year. The overall school budget was down.
Yes, 372,000
Did
of
they
it was
look
from
at
the
their
special ed.
operating budget and their personnel? Staffing and health insurance have been the thing we've said, we've talked about over and over and over.
Yes. Yeah, we have talked about it, and then,
With no results,
well, I wouldn't say no result. They
minimal.
minimal, and we have,
Yeah.
part of this annual report to the school from the advisory budget committee is we continue to talk about staffing. We continue to push on them and say, but I can't tell them where they need to cut. I can't tell them they need to cut another teacher, because I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what impact that has in the classroom, and so to a certain extent, we have to rely on them to when we say, look, you're overstaffed. We think you're overstaffed, and we've said that. We've said we thought that they could cut more paraprofessionals. You said it. We thought that they could cut at least one more when we thought it was 56 and a half, and they had 125 hours. I said it at the deliberative session. It's 56 and a half hours. They have 125, available to them. They don't need all 125. There's a lot more than what they need. But anyway, yes, we need to continue to not, you can't force them. We have to get them to understand that the 6-to-1
But
ratio.
the way you force them
Well, we
is-
differ on that.
is to hold the power that you have and use it.
We don't have.
We don't
There's
have any
zero
power.
power.
You do have a
It's an
power.
advisory budget
You just
committee.
did it.
We're advisors.
You just gave them their,
you
They're yes.
approved the budget, so that's the that's the only power you have, is to recommend.
And you're right, that's the only power that we have, is
And
to
as
recommend
long
or
as
not
you keep
recommend.
recommending
really
and keep
power.
recommending.
This is the first
it-
time in 3 years we've recommended.
No, you recommended last
No,
year.
we did
No.
not.
No.
No,
And
we
it
did
failed.
not.
Default budget last year.
And it failed.
Right, so this is the first year that we have recommended the actual budget. Because, again, for me personally, down 5.22% is, I'm not saying it's perfect, I'm not saying it's exactly what we wanted, but it's in the right direction. Even if half of it or most of it was achieved through, it was achieved through losing 2 positions, taking 2 positions out of the budget. It was achieved through, yes, the special education numbers are down. They renegotiated the transportation budget and saved $120,000 there.
They only took 1 position out of the budget.
Correct.
I thought they took a teacher and a paraprofessional.
No. Because the parent from the preschool is coming in.
They repurposed that. If this budget passes, they repurpose the para for the preschool because we don't.
That's the only paraprofessional that's in under regular education is the preschool paraprofessional.
The charter school one
Yeah.
is under regular
No.
education.
No, that's
It's under
under
special ed,
Yeah.
and all the others.
All right, well,
Yeah, because
Forgive-
technically they were
Yeah.
down 2 teaching positions in the para, but they
We're
repurposed
not,
those.
we're not here to discuss the school
School
budget
budget.
right now.
Right.
We're moving on to the town
Yeah,
budget,
let's
please.
go.
but I hear you. So we can continue to talk about moving forward. But, all right, so back to the town budget. Recognizing we will scrutinize your budget.
Oh, I'm ready.
Didn't we say that we wanted the fire department?
So that, we proposed him $15,000 cut. He was supposed to talk at the last meeting
Yeah.
and get a call and had to leave. So we were unable to.
Except that there's nothing here.
Right, yeah, and then that's,
Nothing.
so we hopeful that we can amend it on the floor. It's Tuesday, yeah,
Oh,
right, Tuesday night, right, not on the floor, right, Tuesday night, that's what I meant, sorry, there, at the
Yeah.
the budget.
So the
Yeah.
number, the sheets that I handed out,
Yes,
the fire department budget and expenditures shows,
Nothing.
what do you mean nothing?
It shows the same number. Doesn't show,
No, no,
doesn't
no.
show 15,000 less.
no,
No,
it's
this
an
is the-
average
this
of
is-
what he's, the
this-
surplus
Gotcha.
over the
So
past
the
5 years.
average balance that he has had left, so I had some numbers
54.
wrong, is 54.9,
Yep,
okay?
okay.
The average expenditure per year, you can see in that expenditure, go down right here, the 125,262. That 125,262 is predicated on the fact that the first year, 2020, shows 174,000. He didn't actually expend 174,000. There was a $70,000 end of year, $74,000 end of year encumbrance. So without that encumbrance, he would have only spent 103,494. And if you use the 103,494, the average expenditure then is $113,000. So if you look at the numbers that have been budgeted, anywhere from 164 to 173, with the expenditures only averaging 113, if you don't count that encumbrance. If you count that encumbrance, it's 125. Now, I'm not suggesting that his expenditures or his budget get reduced to the 113 or the 125, but I do believe that if we were to propose that more than the $15,000, if he were to reduce this budget by $30,000, it would go from 165 to 135, which would be $10,000 over that average expenditure, or $20,000 over the adjusted average expenditure, leaving him still a pretty good cushion.
And I would have recommended a decrease of 25K. Split the difference.
Okay. So I think we can't necessarily affect this tonight, but on Tuesday night we can.
Well, we can vote down the budget.
We're not voting tonight, right?
We're not
We
recommending?
don't vote, no, not tonight, we do that on Tuesday.
Okay.
After we
And
discuss.
can I just add, just a conversation that I had? This is probably the only department, the fire department, that doesn't have what, the expandable trust. In other wor-
Expendable trust fund?
In other words, he doesn't have money, there's no trust fund for him. So I think the thought was, you know, yes, you talk about a cushion, so if it's a $50,000 cushion.
That's a lot of cushion.
Correct, and maybe 25,000 is fair, I'm just saying that's a reason, and maybe maybe that department should have a trust.
To
And
do
we're
what with
putting-
it? You have to create one to do something with it. You can't just say, let's just have a trust to give the fire department money.
Well, in the event, they don't use it unless there's,
No, but what's the purpose of the expendable trust?
Equipment.
in
Well, that's
case
what I'm
they
saying,
have
yeah.
an emergency.
Right, because I
But
mean,
in
the
the
hard part is
emergency-
with a fire truck, a pump fail
It's
is
huge.
huge money.
Correct.
I understand that.
Right, $40,000 to fix,
$40,000.
right,
Fix it.
so.
I bet it's 50 by now.
Right, and that's the thing. So, and I think, and again, I don't want to speak for Michael, but I
No.
feel like,
But if you think that you're gonna have a pump failure,
what you don't know.
Put it in
That's
your
the thing. You
repair
don't
parts.
know.
Exactly.
It's one
you
of those
don't,
things.
You don't know, but put it in your repair parts. Stop putting 2,000 here and 3,000 there that you never use. Right?
And we will vote on it.
Or put a one-time repair, replace type thing that we did for the heavy highway equipment. Create one that has then, and
Sure, right. Well, I think that's what Nan's
$30,000.
saying is if we created an ETF for the security purpose,
Correct, that's all.
then it may, and again, I'm not saying one way is
No,
right or wrong. I'm not,
no.
and again, I'm not trying to speak for Chief Brooks, but, and I understand what you're saying. I do. I get the fact that for the
Right.
past X amount of years,
6 years.
We've had-
That's all I could. Those are the only reports I could
Right.
find without going into the archives.
we have that amount, and I get
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
but-
yeah.
Right, I do. I completely understand the point. But like I said, it would probably put minds at ease. Like I said, if we were able to create an ETF for emergency repairs or what have you, that way if something, and again, I'm not saying that this is the proper way to budget for an emergency repair. That's not what I'm trying to condone
No,
here.
but it's an
I do
alternative.
I do understand.
But aren't emergencies covered by? I mean, couldn't we have a town meeting because it is an emergency?
Is it an emergency?
Is it an emergency if a truck is inoperable and?
And not if we have another one.
Necessarily.
Like if we have more.
Okay, then
We
we
have
do.
mutual aid,
Well, then we do what we've done in the past, which is at the end of the year, from the unassigned fund balance, we took, well,
yeah, but no, yeah, I know what you mean. It hasn't turned into unassigned fund balance yet, but at the end of the year, it's just what's left.
or
over.
right,
Right,
it's
you
the,
can
it
get
hasn't turned into
right.
the unassigned fund balance yet, it's the unexpended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a a surplus and there was an unexpended and we take it out of that and use it to fix the truck. Now, that kinda stinks if it happens
In April.
January.
Yeah, right.
Right, but the issue,
I mean, we pay for. What did I can't now? That's
Usually.
Thank you, mutual aid.
mutual aid,
We pay X amount, but is that to a certain degree? This is where my knowledge is. Like, is that only
you can't
covered to
re-
a certain?
Well, you can't rely on them.
Right, that's my
It's
point,
more
like-
right, because you broke a truck in January, you can't expect them to cover your butt all year.
Right. So, again, so that's why I think the
That's-
ETF would be.
That's my only point, is
Would be
I
a-
think that was an option, as opposed to 50,000 every year.
Sure.
right, cause at this point,
ETF was-
it's $330,000 of taxpayer money that's been brought into the town and not used. I mean, it gets used
gets
eventually.
returned.
Buyback
And,
taxes annually.
But again, I go back to the thing that George Epstein kept saying is, why am I having the town be my bank? Right? I would rather have that, even if it amounts to $100
14
back in my
cents. Right.
pocket.
Or you could say that it comes back to the taxpayer quicker than putting it in an ETF, because you
That's
put
right.
$50,000 in that ETF, it could sit there for 6 years and never have
And
to
I think
use it,
that's
but
what-
every year, $50,000 doesn't get back from this year, automatically goes back to the tax.
And I think that's what George was saying at our meeting, because we were asking to start 2 more funds for
Right.
tuition, and he that was his point,
Right.
was that you're asking the town to
not like-
hold your money and get interest on it when you could be holding your own
It's
money.
not necessarily the budget numbers, it's the funds that hold the money
Yeah,
for,
and those could stay
right.
in there for long periods of time,
Whereas,
whereas this has to get returned at the end.
At the end of the year, right.
Right.
and if you're not budgeting this extra, then the taxpayer has that money.
Right, it
The
doesn't
taxpayer has
come out
that
at
money
all.
in time value of money, says I want my money earlier than, rather than later.
What's our, and I'm just trying to, what is our portion of the tax rate?
383, I think?
This year, what was
Yeah.
it?
No, the one coming forward, I suppose. What did we agree on now? I know that it's
Here, it's on, isn't it,
898,
is it
but
on here?
is it on here? What
I'm
our
not
portion
sure.
is? The
You
town,
mean-
the
you mean
top operating
three-
budget is,
This year, this
Oh.
number for next year?
yeah, 383.
383,
Uh,
but.
per thousand,
You
per-
have to take, you're still gonna take revenues out of that.
Right,
But, yeah.
Right, yes.
That's where we're at right now.
well,
That's the most it could be.
per thousand, yeah.
So can I ask why that money's not in the repair line and we only have $2,000 budgeted?
You'd have to
I
have
mean, that's
chief.
not gonna, that's not gonna even buy a tire. That, I mean, why not put it there? Does the same thing happen? It comes back if it's not, you don't.
Yeah, that's the thing.
repair
If the
it?
money doesn't get expended, it comes back to the taxpayer at the end of the year.
So why not put it there so it's more transparent if that's.
Right, and I'm not
the
again. I'm not
intent?
saying that's
Right,
what
right.
the purpose is to the extra built in. I don't think that's what Nan was alluding to either. But she's saying that
Yeah,
in case of emergency, there's a fallback number in there.
Where's the two, I see $12,000 in vehicle equipment.
So is that for all vehicles
Oh,
that would
under
include
fire
fire?
department says equipment repair, $2,000.
Oh.
$2,000.
Well, then the vehicle maintenance at the
Oh.
very bottom is 12,000.
Oh, 12,000, I didn't know it was gonna be separate.
Well,
Yeah, so that's.
I think
12,000.
equipment repair is not vehicles. I
No,
think
right.
equipment
Okay,
repair
it's like
is
radios and stuff.
maybe
Yeah,
or
all of
something.
Well, no, there's a radio repair line.
Hoses.
Okay.
Right, hose.
Hoses, Scott breathers,
Yeah,
you know,
all
the
Who knows?
Okay,
tanks,
alright, well,
Yeah. Whatever other sundry
well,
equipment.
you know, you got the, why not
But
put
again,
it
if you
there,
go
so-
through and you look at this, there are, you know, a number of lines that are 0% expended. That, and to be honest,
Mhm.
this hasn't changed since it was submitted. Which I'm disappointed in,
Right, and we
even though we've asked. Right, we've asked for it to be changed, and it hasn't changed.
I'm not disagreeing.
Are there, what other, alright, so,
I mean, that's the only big one that I.
that's a Tuesday night discussion?
I was gonna
Think
say,
so.
maybe he can come up with some different numbers by Tuesday night.
Well, he may already have them, because he was supposed to have them by
Right,
this last Tuesday.
right.
For
Like I
the
said, he
meeting.
was here for the beginning of the meeting, but
But
then
his tone went.
there, yeah, he left in a hurry. So
But did he submit anything in paper that you could look at? Well,
no, not that
okay.
not that we received.
Any other areas? But you said the wages are all in here.
Mhm.
So we went from, did I write on this one? No, this is the one you handed. Madison, was the one that I printed.
Sorry, it's my sick child.
I do have it, I printed it. I printed it, I have notes on it, all kinds of stuff. What did I do with it? Too much paper.
Mine's upstairs
This
in the
one?
office, but
Oh,
with the
yeah,
difference in
this
what
one.
we
How
decided.
did you have it over
I
there?
didn't do
what?
that.
I had it all written down
I saw the
when
writing
we
on
did
it.
it
I
on
figured that might be the
Tuesday.
one you're looking
Yeah.
for.
I had the differences written
That's
down.
why we're like,
But it was
Okay.
below everything. I think every one was below the original budgeted.
You're talking about the salaries?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, I had mine at home. I didn't bring it.
Mine's upstairs on the desk, I think.
But we gave them the limit.
So the last
Yeah.
warrant, the
Yeah,
last,
right. It's just not the differences. In there. Sorry.
the last budget warrant article had, Article 5 as being 1.962, and now it's at 1.968. But is the biggest increase was
In the legal line, the $8,000 that got added to that.
yes. There was $8,000. There was a $2,000 decrease in executive. There's a $613 decrease in financial. A $8,000 increase in the legal line. And a $1,428 increase in building inspection.
Linda, are all the changes from, in there from the BOS meeting the
Yeah.
other night? Okay, just
That's
everything
what
that,
we were going
yeah, I
through.
would say that it was added.
Okay, so that one's up $6,500. The one I had, the one thing, because of the zoning, we agreed to reduce that by that $5,000, but this line hasn't changed. Or was it already changed a long while ago?
I thought we changed it right after.
What did we talk?
The zoning,
zoning?
the increase was
2755.
right.
The new budget was $27,550, where the old budget was only $6,800, and we had
And
bumped
we
it.
removed 5,000 from it.
Right, we bumped
This
it
one?
$20-something thousand dollars in order, $25,000 in order to accommodate.
Because I thought that
fees.
line was originally 30,000.
Right, it was 30.
So we dropped
and
it to
we moved
5,000.
25,000.
Because
The
that
legal
line was originally 30,000.
It's $27,550. It's showing.
At the bottom line of the entire budget. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that reflects the 5,000 because the legal line was up to
legal
30,000
line
and we
was at
dropped
30.
it down to 25. When you
So
said
that $27,550 already.
it reflects that $5,000
And from
reduction
like 2 warrant articles or 2
meetings ago.
things ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was at 30,000
Okay.
when it was originally submitted in November.
Yeah, it was.
And yeah, it went down.
I just thought
And yeah, because you went to the zoning board
and asked them
And that's
if we
from
could
Warrant.
and asked them
Right,
to
I
see
asked
if they
them if we
could go
could-
to 25.
go lower, and they were like, yeah. They were okay with going to 25,
Right.
but we're not okay with going to down
20.
to the 20.
Right.
They just thought that was gonna be
Too close.
way too close.
Right.
Given things we know,
Coming down the pipe.
brewing,
Mm.
there's stuff brewing.
Mhm. So do we have to start with Article 5?
Do we have to start with Article 5? Yeah. All the other stuff before this is all prescribed based on the zoning changes that the state did. All these other articles
So
are,
the ADU.
The ADU stuff.
And everything, yeah.
that's all,
Police cruiser?
No, Article 5.
Article 5 is
Article
the-
5 is the first
Yeah.
one we have
Is
to
where
vote on.
the money
Yeah, but we're not
starts, yeah.
voting tonight,
Why does it say recommended?
because it's just.
I didn't put the vote yet.
We don't have
Put the
a vote
votes in,
there
so
yet.
there's no numbers
Yeah.
there.
I understand it. When do we vote?
Tuesday.
Tuesday,
After the,
At the
During-
public hearing.
during the-
during the
after
deliberation.
the public hearing?
At the public hearing.
Right.
There's
Conversation,
being
then vote.
reviewed.
Because there could still be changes on Tuesday, right?
Correct.
Well,
So-
there won't be changes.
From us.
To the warrant.
No, there won't be, the selectmen won't meet before that, so this is what it is.
No, I'm
This
saying
is-
from the
but-
floor though.
At Tuesday night, you can
Yes.
make changes, right.
Right.
There won't be anything
So the
different
floor-
presented.
So the floor can make a change, then we will vote.
Then we vote
and
once that
then
change.
Then the floor votes.
No, the floor votes at
Doesn't
town
vote
meeting
till town meeting, right?
in March.
This is just to present to the voters what you're gonna bring to town
No,
meeting.
no.
It's okay, Doug. I get that way too. It's like, which meeting am I going to?
Yeah, okay, I understand that, thank you.
Do we want to go through these and make sure we're clear for Tuesday?
Yeah, I'm
No,
happy
just
to do that.
so, we're not scrambling Tuesday night going, what was that, Sharon? on
Right,
that
and
one?"
the
Yeah.
reason that these Article 5 and Article 6 are before the actual town budgets is if these two do not pass, those numbers
Need-
must be put back into
Right.
the budget. Okay, this
Because we
is
can't not
paying off-
pay.
Because we can't not
Well,
pay.
we owe the money on the
Right,
leases, yeah.
so these are leases on vehicles that we're gonna pay off,
Is it? I didn't even.
One way or the other.
one way or the
Yeah,
other.
Yeah, either pay off or pay the lease
Or
amount.
pay the annual.
The annual
rate,
balance.
Yeah.
Right,
Okay,
okay?
I think we.
So that's, these two, I'm not sure we need a whole lot.
Yeah.
They are what they are. We're either gonna,
At town meeting or put
and,
into the
and
budget.
these numbers
Just in case.
have no impact to our tax rate, well, I shouldn't-
Because they're gonna be
but they're
more-
coming from the unassigned fund
Right,
balance.
they're not, you're right, they're not for new taxation.
But there's actually a there'll be a savings to the taxpayers, because we're not paying $11,000-$12,000 in interest.
Interest.
Yeah.
Correct.
Oh, they're on
So,
here.
It's
Oh,
actually
perfect.
a savings by paying
Yes.
You're way
this off
ahead of the
early.
game.
Yes. Okay,
Perfect.
so,
Awesome.
so 5 and 6, we,
5 and 6 are pretty straightforward.
pretty straightforward. And I don't think any among us would say no to that unless for some reason doing Article 5 and 6 depleted our complete, and it's not going to.
No, even with purchasing if we do the truck
The
through
5 and
that,
6.
Yeah, we still have like 400.
we'd still have almost 500,000 with all those.
With 5, 6 and the truck.
Yeah, and then the truck we would then get 255 back to go
Right.
back in. So
Do we,
we'd
do we know how quickly the state will reimburse for that money?
as soon as we take,
As soon as we
Just
submit
bill
the
them.
paperwork or
We-
bill them?
When
Okay.
we have to prove that we paid for it and have it in service, and then they can give us the money.
Yeah, I just didn't know how
I
quick
want to say
they.
it's like within 10 days.
Is it really?
Yeah,
How
but
quick they write a check?
It's-
Oh, is it?
It was pretty quick. Yeah, I want
Alright,
to we
alright.
or it was 90% upon
So, yes.
upon 90% upon retrieving the truck, and then once it's in service, they give us the other
Yeah,
10.
Yeah,
10%.
the 10%.
And it's
So
gonna be done
it's
by the end
pretty
of-
quick to get that.
I would
back.
assume, yeah.
It's
And
gonna
by
be
the
done
time
by the
we
end of
by
the
the
year.
time we get the truck ready, it'll be able to be in service.
Okay, so they're not gonna wait till 2027 to reimburse
It
us?
did no. It
This
sounded
will
like
be-
it was a
This will be this year?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it has to be
done
done by the
by
end of the year, right?
December 31.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Article 7. Back to mine. Any other questions on any of the other lines in there? No. Article 8. That's the one. Oh, yeah, never mind. This is the DPW one. I'm thinking of the minutes, where it's $1,044,000. Okay, that was $1,048,000, so that's down a couple grand. Article 9.
There's the 25K for the fire truck. Well, the budget, I mean.
692,255. And that's where fire rescue,
165,750.
right, that's where we would propose that this article be amended.
5K.
To reduce by 25K, Doug?
I was,
Yes.
I would like to start at 30K, and if there's
Okay.
discussion and
That's fine.
see,
Okay,
yeah,
I see where you got, no, I see the line you want, you said you.
yeah, the 165,750.
Yep, fine.
And I'll bring the information about the average expenditures and that kind of stuff, so. Look at, there are two different, that says 8. Alright, Article 10,
Yeah,
this is
that's-
the plow truck, this
The
is
new
the
truck.
grant, yeah,
Yeah.
the grant truck. So,
No, that's fine.
363, 255 comes back.
It's 108 change.
108 is what the total end up, the
Cost out
cost
of,
to us
yep.
at the end, then that comes out of the unassigned fund balance.
Yeah,
Yes.
but 108K for a brand new truck, no, we can't beat that.
And Cordell did add in there the line, no amount to be raised by taxation.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Article 11,
Yeah, the chip sealing of the roads.
right.
Yeah, that's important
12 or
too.
13. or
11, 12, and 13 are all
Paving.
that maintenance.
Yep.
And again, we go back to they did them separately in case,
One doesn't. They don't
Yeah.
all
One doesn't,
necessarily.
they don't,
know.
right.
There's stuff we have to do.
okay, and then this is that 14, wait, 13. $25,000, and then this is a new one, to see if the town will vote to establish a road reclamation and rehabilitation capital reserve fund. This came out of Tuesday's meeting.
That right. That was
Yeah.
that was.
Mhm.
This is for, so if you review the UNHT2 presentation, one of the things they talk about is doing the ones that you just repaired in order to keep them up to speed, and then setting aside money to do the major roads, major projects. And we did not have a fund that would allow us to put money aside to build up that fund. We were looking at, $400,000-$500,000 a year that we've been putting into our road maintenance. This would end up being probably, it could be $1 million or $2 million, depending on how bad the roads
Yeah, depending on which ones we do, right?
and which ones we do. So in order to be able to start to save for some of that, this is to create that road reclamation and rehabilitation capital reserve fund.
And I don't see a problem with it, but I can hear what some of the voters are gonna say on it.
Oh, sure. No, I'm fully aware that is a chance of not passing because but I mean,
I know, but
Well, and so I think it's gonna be important to talk to them
explain-
about the
yeah.
UNHT2 presentation
Yep.
a little bit,
Mhm.
and explain to them that, repairing roads now costs you $10. If you wait and it's really
8
bad,
times.
it's 8 times the
oh,
amount.
easy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Easy.
Well, and that's what they use
We're
as
not
an
really
estimate.
paving this year, we're just top coating.
We're
We
just-
don't have a major paving
Right.
deal going on at all. We have a minor.
No,
one,
we
top
have those-
coating, Yeah,
we have
We're
$430,000
Yeah.
worth
But we
of
don't-
maintenance.
yeah, we don't have any, so it's
Right.
kinda like instead of doing that too, we're gonna start saving
Right.
for major.
Which is,
reclamation.
that's
Right.
smart planning. You have to set money aside every year.
And I wouldn't be surprised if somebody cuts that number in half.
I know, but it's,
Just,
No, I
I
like
wouldn't
I
be
said,
surprised, that's
no.
all.
we're
Yeah.
either paying a little now
Oh,
or a lot more
Oh, I
5
agree.
years from now.
$1.5 million.
Yeah.
And I
I agree.
think then that it's
Bond.
gonna be very important for the selectmen and perhaps even a representative from the DPW to explain why this is that important. Or, Nicole, you went to the presentation too, so, having
Mhm.
people explain why this
so big,
number
yeah.
is that big, because that's not a big number.
No,
Technically.
No, when you look at what it costs to pave
Right.
anything.
not in the
Right.
big picture.
You could reasonably throw a $500,000 in here and you still wouldn't touch
You'd
it.
still be far cry from
As
Right.
fuel comes down though, hopefully
Asphalt
other
comes
things.
price
down.
of
AC
Asphalt,
price should
Asphalt,
drop.
petroleum,
Right.
the trucks running, all of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Or at least stay stagnant, not go up.
And so, yeah, that's gonna be important
Mhm.
to explain. The next one is the Police Expendable Trust Fund, or Cruiser Expendable Trust Fund, for the future purchase of a police cruiser and upfitting. This was increased from $10,000 to $25,000,
Because we have to buy a car next year.
because we're
This
gonna
is the
have to-
Challenger, right?
Yeah, the Challenger's up in
Challenger goes
2027.
away,
Yeah.
right.
Propose. I mean, if you could limp it along an extra
Yeah, but
year.
it's-
Well, and he said, I
Right.
might be able to get an extra year out
Because
of
it's
it.
at this point it's auxiliary. It's not really on the road.
Yeah, but it's falling apart too. The
Well,
twisting out.
They
No,
got-
he said it was.
They got patched back together.
He patched it.
Did it
He
get
got
patched back?
Yeah, and it was
It was a
Up-
decent patch.
yeah, it was
Okay.
approved and inspected and everything. Safety wise, it's fine.
All right, no, okay.
So this, we could, by 25 this year, 25 next year, 25 the third year,
Would have
plus
to.
whatever money we get from selling it or getting rid of that vehicle would decrease the amount. Would, we
Hopefully
might
cover
not
the-
have to-
hopefully
it would-
cover the amount.
Yeah, hopefully it covers the whole thing.
Because this again, it's years in the future, I suppose. But this year was 68,000. So
But the other thing is, we're not gonna be replacing just one every 3 years. We're gonna be
there's
able
one because we have two of the cars
Yeah.
we bought at the same time,
The white one, the
Yeah.
new, the Tahoe,
and the
right? And the
the
black
white
one.
one and the other black one, not the new
The
one,
other
right?
black
Yeah,
one.
we bought the same. I think the same time.
Yeah.
But
In the same
sometimes
year.
they could have different mileage on them depending on where the officer
Right.
lives. One could be like $20,000.
Right, you might be able to
20,000
offset it,
miles
right?
difference and
Right.
get that extra year and then get the extra year because it's such lower miles.
Yeah.
Because it didn't go far away to somebody's house.
Yeah, Chief is planning on replacing them every 7 years, but or 6 years maybe.
Eight.
But I think, well, I was gonna say, he
Plan
believes
on
he's gonna
7,
get
but
them
he's
out.
hoping to get 8.
Get 8 out.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, Article 16, this, So this is the heavy highway equipment expendable trust fund. This went from 10,000 to 60,000 because the discussion was 10,000 is for maintenance, the repairs that they end up doing that don't fit within the budget, or something happens and the truck
Catastrophic,
slides and,
yeah.
the plow breaks or any of those kinds of things that are like $10,000 fixes, and it's just not in the budget, so it gives them that 10. The other 50 was to start, just like with the police cruiser, putting money away for the next truck that has to be replaced. So the discussion on Tuesday night was being able to internally kind of sub-account for these and track the two amounts separately. The 10,000, which would add to the existing 21, would give you 31,000 in a repair portion of this expendable trust, and then 50,000 would give you a start for the replacement portion of the expendable trust. But I guess you can't write the article that way. You just
We
have
can
to
explain it to him. You just
You
can't
just
write
can't
it.
write it.
Correct, without creating new funds that specifically say those things, one for repair and one for future purchase.
Yeah.
If you're doing it this way, it's just an in-house
Accounting.
bookkeeping kind of thing that
Yeah,
you.
it's an accounting thing. Article 17. This is the assessing expendable trust fund. This is the $25,000 we put in so that this builds up for the 5-year reassessment, so that when the next reassessment comes along, we have the money in there to pay for it. And Linda, you were looking into, I don't know how much progress you made with looking into other assessing.
I haven't started yet.
I was say not even
No.
until after budget.
Right,
was
it was
done.
after town meeting, I think in
Yeah.
April was when the.
But looking to see
started.
Yeah, I'm fine.
different contracts, different organizations to see
Yeah, see
we
what
can get better pricing,
A little sticker shock.
better service, yeah. The next one, Article 18, is for the Silver Lake Dam Improvement Expendable Trust, $100,000 that goes into that in order to pay for, I always
The
get confused.
engineering.
This is the engineering.
It's the engineering to what needs to be
repaired, and
right?
replaced
So
or
with that
fixed or-
engineering survey, we'll be able to take it to contractors and say
Say.
we need three estimates.
Three quotes.
This
for
will give
these.
you a bid package.
Yeah.
Yes. Article 19, groundwater remediation expendable trust. So this is $65,000 to go into this, and there's $110,000. We didn't spend a penny out of that this year, did we?
No, we used the grant money that we had.
Okay.
There was $60,000-ish in grant money that we used instead. And the theory on the 65,000, because this wasn't talked about, this was supposed to be talked about Tuesday night and we didn't, so I've stuck a number in here, but you guys can decide what you wanna do with this,
Mhm.
but yes, we have $110,000 in there. Next year, or this year now, it's gonna cost $65,000 alone for what Wilcox and Barton is gonna do.
Not including the systems.
Right, and then each system could be anywhere from 7 to 9,000, so just calling it $9,000 a system, at least 7 systems, call it
63,000.
call it 50,000, right? Oh,
63,000.
9 times 7 is 62.
I'm sorry, it's 5 to 7,000,
Oh,
7 times 7 is 49,
Right.
that's what I came up with.
50,000, yeah.
So 50,000.
These are
So-
the filters for the
The-
individuals.
Right, the new system to go in there. So Michael and I talked about it and we decided that we thought it was worthy of putting at least the amount that we're gonna cost Wilcox and Barton, to cover them, take the extra parts for the amount that we would need from the new systems would come out of the balance that we have of the 110, because this is gonna go on forever, so whatever money we can put in
Right.
there is
So we're gonna have to
gonna be-
maintain the systems,
Right,
change the
worthy of,
filters.
it's gonna cost us again the next year, and who knows what other
Other
systems
issues
may
come up,
be
right.
on our radar, we
Mhm.
don't know yet. So that's the theory on the $65,000, but
Okay.
like I said, the
That
selectmen
makes
can
sense.
decide what they wanna do with that Tuesday night, but I thought I needed a number to go
But-
into this
but-
intelligence.
No, that's fair.
That makes sense,
It
too.
does.
Okay, so the 65K goes, 65K goes to pay Wilcox and Barton, and the 110 is to pay for the systems.
Which will be about 50-ish.
Which will be about 50, and then it'll leave us some money in there for,
Some seed
to
money for.
keep
as
going
we-
with it
yeah.
and anything else that comes
And
up.
pay for water that we
Right,
have to
there's gonna
supply,
be-
because there's gonna be lag time between systems and,
Exactly.
Right.
so.
And
And what do we spend?
you have to shut their
10 grand
system
in
down
water
in
this
order
year
to
or something
install
like
it.
Last year?
Yeah, this past year.
Way more than
Way
that.
more than that?
Yeah.
Way more than,
More than
More
$10,000.
in just
on
water.
and just
Water.
water, right, because we were providing them bottled water
Mhm.
service,
Right,
right?
services.
Which we will continue to do until those are in.
Until
So
the
it's
filters
fixed,
are up
right.
and running.
Mhm.
Okay,
Makes sense.
master plan expendable trust is the 12,265, that's to finish paying the consultant, is that what it is?
It's for, that's
The
gonna
plan,
go
right.
to
The- it finishes
North
the
Country
plan.
Council.
North
for the
Country
master plan.
Council,
Okay.
yeah, for the plan.
Nothing but taxation.
Yeah.
Right, this is all,
And if you notice the balance now on that
136.
forest maintenance,
136.
they got a lot of money this year from that cut they did.
Yeah, they sold the lumber, right? Or-
Oh, yeah, yeah.
trees, yeah.
They did really well.
nice. And then 5,000 for the purpose of land acquisition.
And conservation purposes, so they can use that.
Yeah, conservation purposes.
But if they don't use it, it doesn't come out.
Right, it just stays there.
And the same thing with the $10,000, they have up to $10,000 to use towards that purpose. But whatever they don't use just stays in the fund.
there. 23 we don't vote on. And that's, again, that's just it changes the law. You don't stack, you can't stack tax credits for veterans, so the town decided that it would give, it used to be like you could get a $2,000 and a $500 tax credit. Now, they don't want you to do that anymore, and so the town said, well, let's just change the tax credit from 2,500 to 2,500.
Mhm.
So nothing will change,
No.
really. It's just numbers.
And this really only affects people with total disability.
Correct.
24 we don't vote on either. This was redistricting. And this is just to see if the town will send a letter to the state saying they endorse using a third-party independent organization to create districts and look at redistricting as opposed to one party that's in power or the other party that's in power.
Nobody votes on that one. We don't vote on it either, just the town.
Just
to
the town.
recommend.
Just the
everything.
town.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and if they vote, we write a letter, draft a letter. I mean, you.
25.
Tri-cap.
By the way, I mean you.
Yeah, these are all, so we usually look at these all in one, and that comes up to, it's on the bottom of the,
36,140.
Yeah, 36, okay.
Where
Linda,
it
have we
was-
got, the completed,
Haven't got
nothing?
anything else from anybody?
Okay. When do they have to be, to sign petitions and everything in?
Tuesday. It's done.
It's already done?
We're
Yeah,
past
last
We're
Tuesday.
past the petition time
So
now.
have the petitions been received for all
Oh,
of
yeah,
them?
all of these have been
Okay,
received.
all right,
They just haven't,
okay.
a lot of them haven't submitted their financials.
They have financial statements and things, okay, yeah, let me know so I can just update our, well, it's kinda late. We're
Well,
really Tuesday.
whatever I've given you is all I've had.
That's
I
all
haven't
we
got
have,
anything
and they
different.
were incomplete, yeah.
Yeah.
so it's 36,140 this year, it was 32,000 even last year, so this is up 4,140. But the bang we get for our buck with regards to
It's far more
supporting
than
these
that.
charities is probably threefold what we pay.
No, especially the Meals on Wheels.
It's still responsible to check and make sure we
Yeah.
have people, players in play.
Yeah,
That's
Somebody-
what,
yeah.
that's what I usually
That's
do,
what you do,
Nicole.
right.
I used to do it too, that was my job.
Yeah, but, we didn't, I went through the data Linda gave me, you know, the letters and everything we received, and we're still missing, the financial statements.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all the warrant articles. Anybody have any questions?
So if all the warrant articles pass, that's an additional $900,000 on top of 3.7 million.
It's the total.
Yeah, what's the
It's written
total?
down
Yeah.
somewhere.
So if you
We're
look
up.
at this sheet,
There's
Yeah,
last year.
3.7 million.
More will be this year.
Oh, so 200, about $500, that's 4%.
That's up here.
It wasn't that
So
bad.
the total between, if all the warrant articles pass, the total is 4.549 mil.
4.5, right, 4.6 million, right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Up from 3,
That's up 247,000 from last year, total budget.
247?
And
yeah.
before Tuesday,
247.
Before Tuesday, it was only 100, it was, no, yeah.
Next to nothing.
It was 80.
Yeah, it wasn't
Because
much.
we added
right.
100.
Well, we added
55,000.
Because we
the
added
extra ETFs,
50,000
yeah.
and 100,000 and, yeah.
and then yeah, right, 50, 100,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
65.
And
Right, yeah, so
65,
we
so-
pretty much added everything but about $30,000 to that since Tuesday.
Yeah,
So,
Right.
last it was 0.55%.
0.5, yeah, 0.55.
Right.
Right, so,
I think we're ready for Tuesday.
anybody have any questions whatsoever about any of
Tell me
this?
that percent again.
Up from yesterday, it's on
It's on that
this one here.
summary sheet you got right there?
5.74%.
Yeah.
Total, overall.
Overall, operating and warrant.
Yeah, the operating budget itself is most of that, right?
5.2%
My
is
knee.
the operating budget.
Yeah.
Well, no, I shouldn't say that. It's not really. I'm reading that wrong. Never mind. I'm saying it's 5.2% is how much the operating budget is over last year, but that doesn't relate to this. I don't know that number. 3.7
is
million
the-
compared to that would
The
be.
tax impact that you have, the 383,
Mhm.
is that without the warrants, or is that?
That's with the warrants.
That's with all these,
Yep, with
all these warrants
everything.
added up.
But revenues aren't taken into consideration in that number, so it's
So
gonna go down.
that's not the number they use. The number they use is something that ends up being lower
Oh,
because
yeah,
of the
definitely.
revenues.
Okay. Our review, CIP update.
We discussed the CIP. Tia Gagnon came to the Board of Selectmen's meeting, and some of these numbers came from from the recommendations from the CIP. The CIP and the letter and the new policy recommendations, those kinds of things will all be up on the town website underneath the CIP area. I think there was in the letter, we were gonna change something in the letter to add. I wrote it down and now the question's where did I write it? Do you remember, Linda? Remember we agreed to change the letter to add something at the bottom of the letter?
That it hadn't been adopted yet, is that what it was?
No, it was,
I don't remember. Tia did send me something today, but I can't, I can open it, but it's locked, something that she tried to.
the editing might be locked?
Well, it's a Google Doc, and it says that I can't cut and paste it, and I didn't get it in a PDF, so I need to cut and paste it so that I can put it into a PDF, and it's just not working. I gave it back to her, she sent it back to me, and it's still, maybe it's me, but we'll figure it out.
Okay. I'm trying to see if we agreed to. No, that's, I didn't agree. Anyway, but we are, I don't wanna say we're done, because the CIP is never gonna be done. It's a living, breathing document that it will get updated. We've asked the selectmen to review it at least twice a year. The CIP committee will review it 4 times a year. There is still a lot of work, particularly in some areas where we know that there are infrastructure changes that need to happen, like this building, and the fire department, the police department needs more room. We're looking at and have recommended that basically every department do what I termed a feasibility study, which is, what am I required to do as, what are the functions that we perform for the town, and then what do we need in terms of equipment, personnel, that kind of stuff, in order to do that. And then once you get that information all lined out with regards to, and personnel is job descriptions, it's not, Nicole Nordlin and Jake Bowie and Deb Parsons. It's, I need, one person who shovels, I need another person who cuts the grass in Burkefield, I need, that kind of stuff. I need based on requirements, and then once we have those requirements, for every department, you can take a look and cross-check that against what actual personnel do we currently have in the organization? Are we right-sized in order to do the things that we need to do? Are there places where maybe we have more people than we need, or maybe we don't have enough people, we need one or two more people to do these things? But you'll at least have a document that points to the requirements for the job and the requirements for the department, as opposed to, well, I think we need another person kind of thing. And so, or we're doing more than we thought we were doing. This also gives them an opportunity to review all of those job descriptions to figure out, are they accurate still, and do they need updating? Bless you. I'm pretty sure they probably all need updating to a certain extent. And then once that happens, then the next piece of it would be taking all of those positions, making sure they're in the organization chart where they belong, where they should be, where the selectman wants them to be, and then looking at those positions and creating wage scales for, and they'll get, I don't know, admin 1, admin 2, a file clerk, a tax clerk, any of those kinds of things, a shoveler, a snow plower, any of those kinds of things. Whatever those job descriptions are, what is the right salary pay band, if you will, for that individual, to give the selectmen the ability that when it comes time for evaluations and pay raises, we're not just saying, oh, okay, John Q. Public operates in this department, and so we want to give him, he's doing a really great job, we have the ability to give him a 3% pay raise, let's give him that 3% pay raise because he's doing such a fantastic job. Well, and then you look at it later and realize, well, wait a minute, we're paying somebody, I'm going to make up crazy numbers, $180,000 to be a snow shoveler. Snow shoveling doesn't require paying $180,000, it requires paying $5,000. And so we've, through time, have evolved people out of their positions because we never looked at what those mean. And so it'll hopefully give the board, the select board, more information and resources to better manage the town, and not just from a people perspective, but also from an infrastructure perspective, and then have that CIP tag in with the master plan when that comes to fruition, when they're done with that, and make sure that all the pieces get integrated so that there's a comprehensive plan for how to move forward and how to pay for it all. I encourage you, go read it. It's pretty interesting. There's a lot of information in there. There's a lot of information. Anything else? Any admin? No?
No.
You have anything?
She's making a motion to adjourn.
It's like, and we're done.
I was gonna say, so I will do the annual report info and get it to Linda by the 13th. Another last plea for ABC members, please, by all means. Oh, and do we have another meeting, don't we? We have an ABC meeting after the town.
You mentioned it, but I looked and we never,
I didn't see it.
it's not on our posting,
Check.
and it wasn't on the website.
We gotta start paying the ABC people to get here.
Right? January and March, end of February. Is there another
Board
one?
of Selectmen.
It would be in 2 weeks, no?
It would be-
Board, ZBA.
So that's in February.
Yeah, that's still in February.
I looked back at the minutes to make sure, because I wasn't at that meeting, and the last day you decided was last night, which we moved to tonight.
No, there's nothing on the schedule here.
Because I know you did say if we needed one.
The 17th
We
is
could
a
have
Board
one.
of Selectmen meeting. The 24th is, what is it, VD?
Really, after
OE
Tuesday night,
or
there's not
something?
a.
Oh,
heck of a
Village
lot
District
you can
Bylaws.
Right.
Yeah,
do
okay.
until town meeting,
Until town meeting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's
Town meetings.
For free?
because the book's gonna be on.
town
Deb's like, I'm on
election, Board of
vacation that week.
Selectmen, planning board. Yeah, there's nothing for,
I know.
Okay.
there's nothing for budget or anything between now.
At this point, we do Tuesday. That's up to the townspeople, right?
You have a Board of Selectmen's meeting next Tuesday.
There's one on the 17th,
Why
the
would
Board
you
of
have one?
Selectmen meeting.
We have a selectmen's meeting on Tuesday.
Because that's our scheduled meeting.
On Tuesday, but
No,
that's
this
not your
coming,
schedule.
no,
the
you
scheduled
have the
meeting
budget
was-
hearing
the
this
tenth.
We
I
have
know,
the
but I
budget
think
meeting
we're
on
gonna do it
on this
Tuesday.
Tuesday, then we have our
Right,
following
yeah,
week, we have
something.
our
Oh,
So
scheduled.
you have two
Yeah.
in a row.
Three in a row,
You don't
technically,
know
because we
about
had
it
one
yet,
this
but I
week.
think we have one on
17th is the
Tuesday.
night
Yeah,
of the
because
town.
we do
And I
the,
can't remember why, there was something we had to do on Tuesday, and so I think there will be a meeting.
Then there's a Board of
It'll
Selectmen
happen.
meeting on the 3rd of March. You know, the
That's
week
just our-
prior to the
That's
election
normal.
and the town
This
meeting.
is our normal meeting.
That's
They're
just your normal meeting.
meeting.
But
Yeah.
now you're offset by a week.
No.
Well,
Oh,
because
no.
of the public meeting
no,
next Tuesday.
we have
But that's
this,
in addition
No.
to.
right, and then
we're
we
not-
have
that's
one the
not
following week,
They
which
don't-
is back on schedule, and then we have it the
That's
3rd.
the,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
public hearing, not their meeting that
Right, I
night.
know, right.
Yeah, so the next official Board of Selectmen meeting
Is
is
the
on
17th.
Tuesday, the 17th.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well then, I guess we don't have a meeting.
No, there's nothing.
Well, thank you all for your
Well, we'll see you Tuesday.
efforts. You'll see me
We
Tuesday.
will be there Tuesday.
But I also want to thank Joe. Joe is stepping down from the ABC because he's running for selectman. So he will not be you can't run for two seats at the same
Oh, I
time,
know.
so you will not be running for his.
Well, if I
extra
happen to
seat.
be elected, and considering my low odds, maybe I'll be back in Mr. Bowie's position next
Oh,
year.
right.
There you go.
Easy,
Yeah.
And Jake's like,
Jake's like,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Oh, you'll get a new assignment.
Well, I know. I'm not
Jake's
sure
like,
which one's better. Every
Yeah.
Tuesday meeting.
All right. All right. So, is there
Yeah.
anything else we need to discuss? No. There being no further business, I'll
Yeah,
entertain
Jake
a
will be
motion
like,
to
"Ooh."
adjourn.
Somebody will.
I'll move. Yeah, motion.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
8:46 p.m.